The lights are up, the towers are built, the stage is set here at the OGN Super Arena in sunny Southern California for match day 2. Welcome to the Clash Royale League West. I'm Rich Slayton, and joining me is Andrew Guy, and we are in for a fantastic second day of action. Day 1 was absolutely insane. So much fun, so many crazy finishes, and a huge part of that is a shift to our format. We are now focused just a little bit more on the team aspect of CRL.
Yes, and I absolutely love it, and so do most of the teams. We're still starting off with our 2v2 set, the bread and butter, the teamwork that is Clash Royale. Next up, we have King of the Hill, which essentially is a best-of-5 set in set number 2. And lastly, closing it out, we've moved 1v1 to set 3. This is where the 1v1 all-stars from every team are going to come out and take the victory for their team. That is our tiebreaker set.
And you're here with us now. Of course, you can be with us 3 days a week, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. During the weekdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Saturday and Sunday, same time both days. 10 a.m. over on the West, and 1 p.m. if you're in New York, Miami, Washington, D.C., Boston, anywhere on that side of the country. And of course, if you were here for match day 1, you know it has already been insane. Andrew, let's look at our standings and see how things have shaken up so far.
Yeah, some surprises here. We got Fnatic at the very, very top here, sweeping Team Queso. Dignitas in spot number 2. Honestly, the Cinderella story for a lot of fans out there. And lastly, Cream Esports edging out Pain Gaming to get in that number 3 spot. But if there's a top 3, that means that there is also a bottom 3. Seeing Team Queso 0-1 with the sweep, that puts them in 12th place. Following that is Tribe in 11th and Pain Gaming in 10th place.
It might be early in the season so far, Andrew, but it's already been insane. Of course, Oxalet's sweep in King of the Hill for Dignitas, putting them over has been absolutely nuts. Cream and Pain went crazy, and then something we didn't think he would say is Queso 0-1 to start the season, and then here we go today, even more insane matchups, and we kick things off with last season's North American champions, Immortals, facing off against Misfits.
Yes, Immortals and Misfits, followed by Team Queso, the EU champs, looking to redeem themselves against another redemption team, Pain Gaming. Following that is Tribe versus Complexity. Complexity number 2 in NA last year, just barely missing those World Finals. You know they're coming out to prove something today.
And you have to imagine with Tribe stumbling a bit the other day that they want it back. Complexity feels the same way from last season. But right now, we have 2 squads about to enter the arena, walk through our 2 towers. We're kicking things off here with Misfits against Immortals.
Misfits and Immortals making their way to the stage. Look at this. Smiles on their faces. These teams love each other. They're good buddies, but not today, not on the battlefield. You got Immortals on the right and Misfits on the left. Trainer Chris, Baron, Wings, and the new addition of Loi coming out, and they have talked nothing but synergy with this new lineup, Rich.
Well, they focused a lot on 2v2. That was the struggle for this squad when the 3 of them, Wings, Baron, and Chris, were on Cloud 9 last year. They said they've doubled down, focus on that to make sure that's not a problem. And of course, with veterans like Baron, who's been here forever, you gotta imagine they're ready. But across from them, a very difficult task in beating Immortals.
Yes, Immortals very, very confident, and also this team has so much synergy. You got Awcrap and the God RF, the 2v2 all-stars, who also say they have doubled down in the offseason, which is terrifying. Lapakati up next, the Mortar Master, and lastly, Royal, the Golem God. A lot of people say he is truly the best Golem player out there, Rich, and I'm sure we'll be seeing him in 1v1.
There's only way to find out. Let's kick things off in 2v2. So here we go, throwing out some emotes early on. Baron and Loi, you know, this was the hard spot for Cloud9 last year, and they said they put a lot of work into it. Now on the other side though, Awcrap and the God RF played fantastic all regular season, but then went to the World Finals and struggled a bit. And Trainer Luis, their coach, was telling us that they were caught off guard by the Asian meta, and that they guarantee that will not happen this season.
Yes, he specifically said he guarantees when they're at finals this year, it will not happen again. I love the confidence behind that, man. And you're right, and Akrap and the God RF admitted, they slept on Asia. They slept on the Asian meta in 2v2, and it came back to bite them in the butt. So here we are, new season, new meta, no bans. We saw a ton of exciting matches earlier this week, and I cannot wait to see if we're gonna finally see some spell cycling, Rich. I was expecting a lot of that in day one. We didn't really see any of it.
Well, interesting to note about Baron and Loai and Misfits overall is that, you know, they said two things. One, that we're going to be playing Royal Giant like crazy because they believe that is the strongest deck and can break through against anybody. And number two, and this is a quote, they said they're going to abuse Tornado.
Yes, yes, they're very excited to see it in play all the time. We asked them a little bit about Earthquake because we saw it pop up, but they were saying, you know what, if I can pick between NATO and Earthquake, I'm going NATO 10 times out of 10.
Well, they also said they would rather have Lightning in over Earthquake because of that extra damage as well. So, you know, obviously we see a Lightning right now from Misfits, and they're the ones putting the pressure on so far. Nice Inferno Tower, perfect distance there to grab that Royal Giant. Yep,
and you know that those Lightnings are specifically to catch those Inferno Towers, such a strong card in the game, such a great tank killer. And honestly, with the Inferno Tower down, an RG almost will never break through with support troops.
And you see this lighter, faster deck Immortals is going with, of course, playing the miners to get chip damage in the right-hand lane. But also, look at what they just did against that baby dragon, just throwing down the skeletons, little cycle cards. You don't see people play as much in 2v2, but the retarget there saved a ton of tower damage.
And I love the site, and I love those cheap cycle cards, Rich, because you can get the miners back out, because you can start to get log damage in, you can poison cycle, whatever it may be. Having those cheap cards in there is a very great way to keep your opponent on their toes in 2v2.
And that giant skeleton also doing a great job of preventing big pushes from developing behind those Royal Giants as well.
And I really, really love the utilization of the giant skeleton in 2v2. It's such a great card to place in front of a big push, or honestly drop off in your opponent's push in the back to try to kill all their DPS units.
Miner, poison, giant snowball. So far, good spell usage, supporting the miner play here for Immortals. And again, this time the guards, though, picking up some of that Inferno Tower. So this Royal Giant, nope, NATO gets through there. No damage there from that push.
Yeah, giant skeleton meeting it all at the river. You know miners are going to be coming in regularly. There goes another miner just chipping away. They do keep going to the same spot, which I am a bit surprised. And now the rocket comes down. This is where it gets so scary.
And notice they also took care of that Lumberjack in the same way with that rocket. So very, very nice rocket value, tower damage, and taking out the Lumberjack here. Immortals very, very close to taking game number one.
Yeah, not having the Inferno Tower back in cycle, they were forced to use a lot of their spells to stop that last Royal Giant push. Now the Inferno Tower is back in. They need to stop this. They cannot let that RG get more than one hit in. This is huge, Rich.
That's a massive hit. So now you got to hope the rocket's back in cycle for Immortals. Otherwise, they are in a lot of trouble. Rocket
Here
comes
we go.
down. Will the Lightning beat it? No, Immortals take game number one. What a wild finish there. You were just sitting there looking, going, maybe Misfits will steal this in the last second. Immortals, though, timed it out perfectly and took that win.
Too close for comfort for Immortals. Now, they were a dominant team last season, but wow, did Misfits give them a run for their money. Just another second away, we would have got to that Lightning, Rich.
Well, the addition of Loai really changes them as a 2v2 squad. His record from last season, 11-8 in games. That's better than anybody on Cloud9 from last season, and that's better than the 3 players who added. So the hope here is that he and Baron together can really dominate this set. Of course, they're against a squad in Akrap and the God RF, who went 21-12 last year in 2v2 games.
Yeah, a ton of experience on the Immortals side. However, Loai and Baron were talking a bit about their communication in 2v2, and there's zero ego. Either one of them will always be calling out something for their other player to do if they see an opportunity. And what I love about that, Rich, is that's how you have to play 2v2. If your opponent, or excuse me, your teammate sees something, you just go with it, you ride it. And we've seen the success of that with the God RF and Akrap.
So here we go. This time it's Immortals pulling out Royal Giant. Different from their first deck, that nice miner cycle deck, and they don't get a Royal Giant shot. In fact, neither side gets the Royal Giant shot off in the first salvos. First minute of play down, both teams resetting, taking a moment to take a look at the field and make some decisions.
A little questionable hog coming out.
Yeah, right. Well, talking about the communication you mentioned, Andrew, that's a big part of how Akrap and the God RF work well together. Of course, those who watch Season 1 remember that great play where the God RF pulled the golem that was in front of King Tower, I believe by complexity, to the opposite lane that opened up a beautiful 2v2 win, and that was communication. He told his partner, hey, this is gonna happen again, you need to make this play.
Yep, and what do? They just said, okay, I'll do it. If one of them doesn't see it and the other one does, that's trust, and that's exactly what you need. You need to trust your teammate. And you know, Immortals have done it time and time again in 2v2.
Here we go, entering double elixir time. This time it's Misfits a little bit ahead by just over 200 HP, but still a lot left to be played here as we enter into double elixir.
Very, very similar decks here as you see on the field. A lot of the same cards at the top and the bottom of the screen. Obviously, no Ice Wizard at the top of the screen for Immortals.
Yeah, no Ice Wizard, no real stun cards here for Immortals, but it's keeping them in the game, and the big difference here has to be that Giant Skeleton, which they're using again to prevent Misfits from building a big push behind those Royal Giants.
Yeah, and then for the buildings, we're looking at the cannon, which the cannon became so popular in 2v2 last season, also coined by Immortals, who decided, you know, Tombstone was being used a lot. How about cannon? It's got a little bit more HP, does a little bit more defensive utility, and now it is the building card in the meta, at least here at CRL West.
Nice defense here from Immortals as we approach sudden death overtime. They have not taken a ton more damage, and they do have a very slight elixir lead at the moment.
Yeah, it's really going to just be about how are we going to break through these buildings to get our Royal Giants on the tower, or do you just kind of opt to stop using your RG, play strong defense, and spell cycle out?
We're certainly getting close to that range here, Andrew. There's still a lot of time to be left, so I don't expect the spell cycle to get really heavy, but I think we're going to notice specifically Immortals start trying to get value, especially if that Ice Wizard keeps going to that same spot to the right of that tower.
Yep, that's just asking for a lightning.
RG down. Giant snowball, and look, I think they're going to hit this Ice Wiz again if they can.
Yeah, they need to. Either with a fireball or a lightning. They got to catch it. You got to get that spell value every single time that you can, and they have enough elixir.
They hold off this time, choosing to save some elixir for defense, and there you go. See a perfectly placed Inferno Tower. Lightning comes in. They'll still get some good damage here. Royal Giant not going to get on tower.
Those lightnings and logs are really starting to add up, though, from Misfits. They are putting the hurt on Immortals' right-hand tower right now, utilizing the spells, gaining the most efficient use of their elixir.
They are just a little bit ahead, but at this stage, it can feel like quite a lot. Good tornado here, keeping that Royal Giant from getting the first shot off. Will he get one before he dies? Yeah, that's a big shot right now. That
is a huge shot, Rich. Now 600 damage in the lead is Misfits at the bottom of the screen. Although if that Giant Skeleton somehow ever sneaks through, that is a horrible, horrible way to get evened up.
And that's gonna be a lot of fireball value there on the cannon and that half-lifed Ice Wiz. So here we go, Royal Giant down again. A minute 30 remaining in game number 2.
2 Lumberjacks, a snowball. That should still get at least one shot in, one shot, 2 shots. Wow. Oh, nice. A very nice, very aggressive Royal Giant from Immortals.
And great choice there on the Lightning, getting rid of the double Lumberjacks who would have melted that Royal Giant rather than focusing on the Ice Wiz.
Yeah, very, very, very good decision there.
1 minute remains, and now it's Immortals just slightly ahead by under 100 hit points.
And you look at the placement of all of the units for Misfits. Now, it's unfortunate for them that Immortals are rocking that Giant Skeleton, but they're playing their units so high to avoid the lightning value, Rich.
Beautiful lightning, fireball, and here we go, down to 241. Now Misfits is in a lot of trouble.
That's huge.
Whoa, down to 108, so just got to get back to one more spell, and that will be it. Lightning comes down for Misfits.
Where's the fireball?
They cycle faster?
Where's the log, Rich? They got to come in. The snowball, anything. They need to just put something down. There's the snowball. Boom goes the tower, and a sweep by Immortals in set 1.
Was it ever in doubt that these guys would kick off Season 2 in this sort of fashion? God crap and the God RF are 2 of the best at 2v2, and they showed why here today.
And you know what? Baron and Loweye have nothing to be ashamed of. Falling to the God RF and our crap they kept up with them. They really did. They put the pressure on both in Game 1 and in Game 2. You can see the love between the 2 teams here, but the experience between those 2 players on Immortals is just a slight edge over Baron and Loweye.
You know, we were talking about getting that spell cycle on tower, but I think the big moment was that lightning on the 2 Lumberjacks early on, got a lot of damage for them that they probably wouldn't have gotten if they'd focused on trying to get Tower and the Ice Wiz out of the way. And that's just experience in 2v2. These guys have played together a ton, both on and in the offseason, and they know what the right choices to make in those kind of moments.
All right, King of the Hill coming up, Rich, and I just can't wait to see Lapicati play. I hope he finds his way into this set, and I'm really wondering if the God RF will be playing that new Splash Yard iteration.
I mean, he's a fantastic Splash Yard player, so that's the big question with the no ban situation. Do you just go with your bread and butter? Do you switch it up?
Right.
We didn't see Carnage and Wen play Ice Bow, so people are going a little bit off of what they're known for doing. Let's go ahead and get into King of the Hill here. It's going to be so much fun and kicking things off. Look at this matchup. Trainer Chris coming out for Misfits, facing off against the God RF.
There we go. Couple good lucks coming out. Again, these teams are buddies behind the scenes, but on the stage, there's no friendship.
And look at the big smiles on RF's face. He feels comfortable and confident right now. After that 2v2 set, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they expected to do. You know, Trainer Luis was saying, and again, I mentioned Trainer Luis before. I said I loved him, and I really do. I love the confidence behind this guy. He's like, 2v2 sets is when I get to sit back and relax. But honestly, Misfits gave him a run for their money.
They did. They played it very, very close, so let's see if they can do the same thing here. Trainer Chris likes to play a lot of minor as of late. He's been playing a few different minor control variations, also minor Rascal's Loon in the last few months, so we'll see if that's what he brings here against RF. And of course, the question, as we've already said, is does RF go Splash Yard? And so far with 2 Barb Barrels, not a lot of information.
Yeah, Barb Barrel working its way into almost every deck. Trainer Chris has also been playing that new Ram Rider Lightning P.E.K.K.A deck quite a bit, so I'm curious if he'll be playing that at all, or if he thinks it might not match up well against the God RF Splash Yard, which we don't know if he's running, but we do know that he's the best at it.
All right, a little more information here now. Hunter in the back for Trainer Chris, Mega Minion for the God RF, so still could be a lot of different things. And with the Dark Prince, now we could be going Splash Yard direction, although we could also be going Golem, for example, and RF did play a fair amount of Golem last season as well.
Baby Drags, yeah, we're still towing that line. And last season, Trainer Chris actually did not make any appearances in head-to-head play, so I'm sure he's very, very excited to get out there and prove that he's got it.
Goblin Giant Sparky here for Trainer Chris, and Lumberjack down. We'll take care of that Goblin Giant fairly simply.
Which means that most likely the God RF is running Golem, and there goes the Golem. So Golem against Gob Giant, tank versus tank, beatdown against beatdown. Although Sparky could be the equalizer for Trainer Chris.
Well, is this the Electro Dragon variant? You know, you see the Dark Prince, Electro Dragon often goes with that pairing here, so we could be going to the skies a little bit more here for RF.
Yeah, and that is the version that Royal loves to run a lot right now, is the double dragon combination here. Lightning coming down nice and early, basically stopping this entire push in its tracks. And a great counter push coming in. Oh, wow.
Aggressive Lightning, but does take care of that Sparky. And that Sparky is going to be an issue for his Golem consistently. He does have the Lightning, which will help, and if he is playing E-Drag, it can get in there and mix things up with that Sparky, but, you know, again, those Sparky shots do so much damage to a Golem.
Yes, and he's got to do a really good job of spacing out his units behind the Golem Rich. You want to make sure that he's not getting a ton of value, although really the only thing he's got to protect a lot is the Lumberjack if he wants to keep it alive. But sometimes you want your Lumberjack to die and rage up your units.
And look at that. It's first of all, we saw Trainer Chris going opposite lane pressure with the Dark Prince, and then Sparky right lane. And now it's RF going opposite lane pressure with the Dark Prince, and that's the versatility that card gives a Golem deck. You don't usually think of Golem decks as opposite lane pressure. This variant allows that possibility.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot yesterday. Right here, you saw the God RF utilize it to its utmost. Lumberjack, Dark Prince is a huge threatening push. You've got to pay attention to it. You've got to commit Elixir to it. And now, again, Trainer Chris going opposite lane, aggressive with the Goblin Giant, trying to get to the tower.
Goblin Giant, no, NATO does prevent the damage for the moment, so we'll see if that Goblin Giant does make it. Sparky down in response to the Golem in the opposite lane. Goblin Giant does get a little bit of damage here. Giant Snowball makes some room, but not going to do anything. Golem on tower here at the bottom right. Huge lightning.
Yeah, that's
damage. That is it. The God RF kicks off King of the Hill. Currently Immortals on a 3-game run.
Yeah, a 3-game run, and I do not like that Snowball at the end of that game, Rich. I think you should have committed that Elixir to defending the Golem, but maybe he saw that there was no way
Up next for the God RF, it's Wings, who, if you look at his overall win rate from last season, wasn't that impressive. But don't look at that. Look at his King of the Hill win rate. Went an astounding 11-3 in the 3 versus 3 matchup.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's the best record of anyone in that position last season, but it sure seems like it. That is an astounding win rate. It just goes to show that under pressure, he thrives.
So here we're seeing Spear Goblins coming out, and it's gonna be Miner.
I hope it's also going to be Mortar, Rich. I really do.
I know you do. I know you do. I know you do, and everyone is screaming at you right now. We hate them.
Comment section is exploding.
Wings showing early signs of RG with the Lumberjack variation.
Poison, though, is an interesting card to throw in there.
Spear Goblins are a card that does have a lot of value for only 2 Elixir, but they really don't show up on a ton of different decks.
No, they really don't. And then, you know, I really love the Spear Goblins. Obviously, you have the air capabilities, but they're really great to kite strong units like, let's say, a Prince, the Charging Prince. Place them right in the middle of your side of the map, and it should negate most of that damage.
All right, so Miner, Prince, Poison. This is a very fast version of a Miner control deck, and the Prince just gives it that little extra pop that a P.E.K.K.A doesn't quite give you.
Yeah, the Prince is just so strong, and there's the Inferno Tower. Thinking that's got to be the last card because he doesn't have a great tank killer if his Prince is out of cycle, and right there meeting the RG, Wings has quite the matchup in front of him. Now, he probably has a Lightning in that last slot, so we'll see how the God RF adapts.
RF really wants to establish an early lead here with this Miner control deck. You don't want to fall behind and be trying to go chip damage versus the blast of that Royal Giant, especially with that Lightning. As we get later stages, it's going to be easier for Wings to set that Royal Giant up in the back, or at least kind of staggered away from the bridge, and have that Lightning ready and queued up to go when he crosses the bridge.
Yeah, you called that perfectly, Rich. He really needs to stay in control. That's why their control decks, you know, if you ever are at a damage deficit, it starts to become a very unfun position to be in. You know, trying to get miners in, chipping away. 64 damage a hit, you know? The RG is devastating compared to that.
Great pickup on the Miner there by Wings, avoiding any more chip damage. And smart play also putting that Furnace in the right-hand lane, forcing the God RF to at least be harassed on that side, if not at least spend some Elixir, as we saw him do with the Poison.
And that Baby Dragon up high by Wings, picking off those Spear Goblins very, very well. A predictive play, at least it appeared to be one.
Miner going to the back, there we go, making some room, and so now forces Wings to make a decision between the Miner and the Prince. He goes up high, stop that big Prince damage, but still, nice push from the God RF.
And you see that stopping the Prince is definitely the priority there between the Miner and the Prince. That Lumberjack, that was the little Lumberjack that could, making itself all the way after taking out the Miner and the Prince to the top of the map, the Bar Barrel to protect. Very, very nice plays there by Wings.
A lot more Baby Dragon damage than RF probably wanted in that situation. And there he goes, Snowball to reset on the troops crossing the bridge. And there we go, another Miner to the back. We'll see how he begins to vary that position as we get later into overtime.
Just 1 HP separating these 2 stars. And a lot more now with that Lightning coming in.
And again, with double Elixir, able to throw that Lightning. And there you see that now, goes to the same spot one more time. The Lumberjack just a little bit late, but still stopping that Miner from getting as much damage as it could.
And you see Wings adapting, knowing that the God RF has been playing the bats to stop a charging Lumberjack quite a bit. Places the very high E-Wiz to give that Lumberjack just a little bit more utility. Really, really nice plays from Wings, keeping his head on like a very level playing field here.
2 minutes left in overtime, and look at that.
Finally.
Switches to the inside spot, and the E-Wiz has to come down to stop that support. A lot of Elixir spent to deal with that push.
Yeah, you got to expect the High Prince. A very, very nice move there by the God RF to force Wings to play his cards out of the rotation he'd like to. You don't want to play an E-Wiz up high when it can provide so much utility behind those troops.
And that's some nice value there from the Lightning. Miner to the inside here for RF, and still things are so very close. 90 seconds left in overtime.
Yeah, and they're both keeping up so much pressure. Wings, though, getting that spell value. The God RF having a little bit harder time finding a way to utilize his poison.
Nice Bar Barrel to give a little room for the Prince. The Prince does turn back to the other Bar Barrel. Miner to the back of the tower. This is going to be a lot of damage.
Go.
Poison down. This might be it. The God RF might
One
be
more
about
hit.
to take out
That's
Wings.
tower down.
15 HP, that was done. Tower down, unbelievable.
Unbelievable is exactly correct, Rich. It was a slow burn, but he got there.
So here we are, the God RF 1 win away from not just a King of the Hill sweep, but opening up his season with a straight 5 wins in a row. But across from him, one of the best in the world, an OG of competitive Clash Royale, it's Baron.
Yeah, truly one of the best in the world. Last season in NA, he was 5-2 in sets in 1v1, making him 11-5 in games overall, which is a phenomenal record, especially considering the competition, Rich.
You probably see, if you've been around competitive for a long time, you've seen Baron specifically in CCGS EU and the CCGS World Finals. Ended up 7th there at World Finals, a very talented player for a very long time.
And as he said, the God RF just 1 game away from a full sweep on Misfits. And, you know, at the seeding tournament in Tokyo, he really showed that he is so calm under pressure. And you see it today on stage. He's got smiles on his face, 2v2, 1v1. He's feeling himself. He's feeling so confident. And I understand why.
So here we go, Baron looking like the traditional RG Furnace deck. And the God RF on top throwing out Barbs and Musketeer.
I was gonna say
it's,
there.
you know, it's RF, you gotta expect Graveyard.
Yep, his favorite win condition in the game. And this is one of those, excuse me, this is one of those decks that's really fallen into the new meta, this Musketeer, and the idea behind it is exactly what you're seeing there,
Wow.
Rich. It's to get the Graveyard Skeletons to tank for your Musketeer. Now, usually you want the opposite. Usually you want your tank to be tanking for those spawning Skeletons. That was a masterful play by the God RF.
And you saw Baron shake his head. He just got caught out flat-footed in that moment. And he is playing Royal Giant, and the frustrating thing about this deck is he doesn't have an excellent answer to those Barbarians.
Yeah.
So 2 defensive options for the God RF that really do great against the Royal Giant. The Furnace, of course, to pull it, the Barbarians to chunk it down, and he can also get that Musketeer in back with so much DPS. The Baron does have that Baby Dragon to help, but you're gonna see right here how much damage. That RG is going nowhere with those Barbarians.
I mean, those Barbs just melted that RG like butter. And the other thing, too, is with those Barbs, it is very difficult to get a strong lightning in on your opponent's Furnace and Tower, you know, having it target the right units. And once again, those Skeletons are getting very, very close to Tower, only a couple hits in, actually.
And notice RF's poison placement here. Rather than really trying to poison right on the support troops, the defensive troops to get that tower down, he knew that wasn't going to happen, so he poisoned high so to make sure he would wipe out those guards, and they couldn't support the Royal Giant.
And you see the frustrated emote coming out from Baron. I can't imagine how he's feeling right now. It does feel like a pretty hard counter to his deck. Those Barbarians are just devastating to this meta.
And this is a place where you can see now, you got to expect RF just going to play defense, poison out that tower, and take a 5-game run to open up his season.
Yep, he's just 1 poison cycle away, Rich. It just went down. The Furnace Fire Spirits are coming down the lane. Baron's got to pay attention to him, or it's going to take out the tower. There we go. Furnace in, done.
Wow, there you have it. The God RF opens up the season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down.
5.
Woo! Let's go. That was absolutely crazy. You see Trainer Luis so pumped, and their coach last season made ostentatious predictions. This season, he told us before we started off, he's like, we're better than we are last season, and we're going to World. Like, he talks about the World Finals like it's already a done deal, and you can see why if RF plays like that all season, it's going to be very hard to stop this squad.
I mean, he was perfect on the day, Rich. Everything that he did, he was so calm. He was so efficient with his elixir usage, his matchups, his deck usage. It was all over the board. I mean, if that's what we're seeing out of him as a 2v2 specialist in King of the Hill, I am terrified of going up against Immortals all the way down to the rest of this stretch in CRL West.
And very, very frustrating moment for Misfits. You know, they talked about having 2v2 sewn up, but opening up against the North American champions and one of the best 2v2 duos in the world just is a tough, tall order. And rhythmically speaking, it set them on a bad tone. It set Immortals on a great tone. And of course, you saw that there. Who even needs Royal and Lapacati now with RF playing like that?
I know. I was very much looking forward to them playing in 1v1. But however, you saw right there the sportsmanship on the field. Gotta be a frustrating start for Misfits. So very close, so many times, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And today it went the God RF's way and then some.
And then here's the extra benefit of a sweep like that, is you get to defend the deck pool of Royal and Lapakati till later. So whatever research information you have, fine, you do not have current deck tape, current information on them right now. And especially for a new player like Lapakati, that's huge.
Oh yeah, there's almost nothing out there about Lapakati, so I can only imagine there's one person and one team that we'll be speaking with down on the floor, Rich.
Let's go down. Rachel is standing by with our winners.
Thank you guys so much. I'm here with the God RF, and we got Trainer Luis down here as well for some insights. Now, you completely swept that match. How does that feel to kick things off here at Clash Royale League?
Feels really great, especially the first game of the season. It gives you a good start and a lot of confidence.
And how did you feel about the matchup against some of those decks there? You're playing from a disadvantage, and you were doing excellent.
Yeah, I think the main thing I did well is just staying calm and just playing the game that I played for 3 years.
Well, Luis, you seem so proud of these boys, but I got to say, this seems like a little bit of an expected result talking to you. Tell me the work that went into this and why you guys feel so confident.
So this season, I think we were looking at the lineups for every team, and it became really clear that it's going to be a lot harder to do as well as we did last. So we had to prepare a little bit differently. Strategy for King of the Hill was definitely even like a game time decision with his last deck. The 2v2, I got to give it to Akrab. He's unbelievable to work with. Like the amount of work these guys put into the practice is just, it pays off week after week after week. And the best thing about our team is that we only get better as the time goes by.
Fantastic. Well, I know you're a big part of that, and I know you guys are feeling strong heading into this season. So let's send it up to the casters for a breakdown of that last matchup.
I mean, what more is there to say? We didn't see a lot of Immortals. No. We saw a lot of one guy, the God RF, who he's a quiet player. He kind of flies under the radar, but you know what? Not anymore. I'm telling you right now, RF looks to be a breakout star of CRL West.
I mean, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in the game, but my goodness, out there, when you're going and looking across him on those towers, he is a horrifying man to go against.
And let's take a look at our scores so far today. And you see there right now, Immortals, just a clean sweep. Unbelievable performance here by the squad. You know, a 2v2, don't take away from what Akrab did with his partner there. He was on stage as well. And we've got more Clash Royale coming your way. Let's get into our second match. What an excellent opening to our day. Close matches, even though the stat line doesn't quite reflect that, they still were closely contested the entire way through.
Yeah.
And we've got so much more today. Of course, later we're going to see the return of Tribe facing off against Complexity. But right now, coming up next, two squads, both of which stumbled on match day one. You have Team Queso, who really fell down pretty hard.
Yes.
And then you have Pain, who just a heartbreaker of a loss all the way to Game 5 of King of the Hill, and then the end 3 games of 1v1.
I mean, they both went to the Game 5 of King of the Hill. It was absolutely crazy. You know, Benny, who came out and he played out of his mind in that second set, but he just did not have enough at the very end. You know, Javi had his number. Javi 14 doing exactly what's expected. On the other side of it, you know, you have Pain falling to their rivals, their Lat AM rivals in Cream on Lindsay's shoulder. Lindsay had the day of his career yesterday, and what a great way for him to start his season off.
Well, it's match day 2, and they have another shot at getting in the win column. Let's go welcome our players into the arena.
Both these teams have already had one showing here at the OGN Super Arena, looking to make the second one maybe turn out a little bit better than their first, Rich.
So here we go, Queso and Pain. You can see everyone's still in a pretty good mood. It's early in the season. One loss really doesn't mean much at this stage with so many teams going to our playoffs. And so here we go, left-hand side of your screen, Team Queso. You see Benihoo, Kuchiku, Dark Angel, and Azelius, the 2 new additions to this squad. Really hoping to have a repeat performance from last season when they were the EU champs.
Yeah, and you got to imagine that Kuchi and Benny still will be coming out as their 2v2 specialists. On the other side of that, of course, Pain Gaming looking to redeem themselves from their first show. We got Surge, TS, Renan, Kava, Carnage, and Wen. Now, Carnage played incredible in their first game, but he didn't quite get what he wanted out of it. So both these teams now know, you know, a little shake off the cobwebs. Let's go. Game number 2, match number 2, day number 2.
So here we go, 2v2. And getting a look at these squads, no changes from either team. We expected Benny and Kushi to come back out, and it makes sense to have Surge TS and Ren and Kava, because then you preserve the ability to go with Wen or Carnage in that 1v1.
Yeah, and that's something you really got to strategize for. Now, it is obviously possible to use any player in your active roster in King of the Hill, but saving your knockout king, excuse me, for 1v1 is really, really important. But what's even more important right now, Rich, is Kuchiku and Benny, who have to hit their stride. They have to hit their rhythm. They are considered two of the best in the world at 2v2, and they really, really struggled the other day.
So there you see Pain going with RG, and so far Giant Skeleton in defense, and that was quite a lot of damage here to open up between the RG shots and the Lightning. So here we're going pretty classic RG Giant Skeleton. They had to use the Giant Skeleton early in defense, so no support here, and that Royal Giant getting melted by that Inferno Tower.
Mega Minion log making easy work of that Lumberjack. You wonder if it might have been the starting hands for Team Queso that allowed that much damage to come in on the left-hand tower.
Yeah, I know, and this is a point of discussion. Some people say starting hand is way more important in 2v2 because you can load up so heavy early on. Some say it's less important in 2v2 because you have two sets of starting hands, so more versatility. And it kind of just depends on how they feel about the set overall.
And you can imagine now, obviously, that bomb tower coming down is the 6th card that it was not in cycle, and that was the reason why that RG got 800 damage in on that tower early on, and another shot right now.
Big shot there, so Giant Skeleton makes it across the bridge. I'm wondering, I have a lot of doubt here that we're going to see any Giant Skeleton ever actually get to a tower in 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that would just be sheer negligence from levels, pros at this level. There's got to be always a way to get that skeleton, pulled backwards, even if it's just using your single elixir cost cycle skeletons.
So look at that. You have Pain going double defense on the RG with both the Lumberjack and the Inferno Tower, and both of those eaten up pretty nicely by a well-timed, well-placed Lightning. You gotta wonder if maybe the Tornado wasn't in cycle, and that's why they doubled down on two different defenses for RG.
Yeah, that Tornado that was just played on the defensive by Pain was, I was thinking it could have been a little aggressive, but they did realize that they were going into double elixir time, and that it was a safe play. One more shot in. Every single one of those is devastating, Rich.
And doing a good job of disrupting that flow with the logs is Pain Gaming. So as we enter the final 30 seconds of regulation, they are behind by just a bit, but they still feel like they have a little bit more rhythm.
Yeah, and that 84 HP log, that adds up. It really does. Every single time it's dropped, it's taken away 84 HP. That is something that really, really does add up over the course of 6 minutes.
And there you go. That was a very clean defense on that Royal Giant. So maybe a little cycle repair being done by the Brazilians on the top of your screen, and now it's their turn to go on offense. I don't think this RG is going to get a shot then.
No, and Team Queso wants to get an RG right behind this Giant Skeleton. There it is. This is the perfect setup for them to get a great big push in. The Lightning needs to come down and take out. There it is.
Second Lightning.
And still no hit. Very, very well played with all of the defensive cards there, and an aggressive Royal Giant at the river.
Turning up the heat right now. NATO will pull it back, and this is the challenge of the RG meta that was established last season, is with no bans, you have a lot more defensive cards that can stop an RG push. So we've seen them vary between the Inferno Tower defense and the NATO Ice Wiz defense.
Yep, NATO Ice Wiz. We've even seen successfully, a log coupled with a snowball with Lumberjacks and guards that melted so quickly, it still doesn't get a hit.
That Lightning in just not quite in time for an RG shot, so still Team Queso in the lead. 2 minutes left in this opening game.
Lightning coming down, Fireball coming in, great spell value there on both accounts, Lightning and Fireball.
At this stage, it's Team Queso's game to lose. They are in the driver's seat, just need to spell this thing out, and they will take a game win here in 2v2.
You have to imagine the log is going to be coming down very, very soon, followed by a Fireball or Lightning. They are veterans in the sense that they're not getting ahead of themselves. They can play calm, cool defense and still get those spells out. They're fine.
144. It's going to wait for timing. You can't block a Fireball. There it goes. Tower down. Team Queso gets their first 2v2 game win of the season.
You know, Benihoo and Kuchihu getting back to the rhythm they looked for and found so successfully in Season 1. Surge TS and Ren and Kava running such a similar deck, but kind of struggling to break through, Rich.
And it's going to be difficult. You know, breaking through with Royal Giant is hard in general with so many defensive cards. You saw Kuchiku and Benihoo doing a good job of finding their way through. But we also saw earlier some variance in these decks, of course, with that minor deck we saw played by Immortals.
And Rich, I hate to cut you off here, but a very aggressive Golem in the back and a very aggressive RG Lumberjack at the river to take down that right-hand tower. This is something, I think, a bit of a misplay from Team Queso. They have to take this left-hand tower now.
Wow. Yeah, just as I was turning to you to talk about this Immortals deck, you just load up on the left-hand side. That was a ton of elixir spent. You saw now Pain Gaming punishing them for it. And not just punishing them on that tower, but look, they're getting that King Tower way down as well.
And look at that Lumberjack sneaking in behind the Golem, taking that tower down. We were all even. However, as you said, that King Tower did take a lot of pain from that Royal Giant. That is the Royal Giant MVP of the season so far.
All right, this is a maniac opening. So now you have the King Tower of Pain going way down.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I think both teams realized, okay, we got away with one in the beginning. Let's just save our elixir, let's regroup. And now, Pain going for the 3 crown.
And this might be what Pain wants to do now, is keep the pressure on in that right-hand lane and just keep Team Queso from building up Golem pushes. They're going to be, there you go, defending the Prince pushes. And so now they want to choke them off on Elixir, force them to play that right-hand lane, and not let a Golem push get aggressive on their King Tower.
Yeah, and so if I'm Team Queso, I actually just give up on the King Tower, and I start putting my Golem pushes into the Royal Giant, because honestly, as you said, that Royal Giant's going to keep getting dropped down, get a couple shots off. If you play into them with your beatdown deck, you should be a bit more successful at the end of the day.
Oh, look at that. A 2008 IQ Lumberjack turns and gets to the defensive Lumberjack, and that's a couple big shots from that Royal Giant.
Yeah, now at 1368, Queso is in dangerous territory being 3-crowned. Another Royal Giant Lumberjack push coming in.
Just keeping the pressure on, this time Prince in defense. This Royal Giant does get one big shot though, down to 10-30, Team Queso in trouble.
Yeah, this is massive. This is a huge and aggressive move by Pain, and it's really paying off tenfold at the moment.
And look at that, you saw Queso getting enough elixir to drop Golem, but just not feeling comfortable doing that with the intense pressure coming on this right-hand lane.
Skeletons down, Prince down, Lumberjack down, Lightning in. They gotta stop those RG pushes.
Pain just playing this very, very smart right now.
Ruthless.
Yeah, absolutely ruthless, just keeping the pressure on. This is straight ground and pound.
723 HP separating Queso from a 3-crown. Can they come back?
Moving into sudden death overtime. Well, it's, you know, sudden death, the same thing as having your King Tower go down, so we'll see if that's even necessary. Oh my word, down to 466.
Yeah, we are just a lightning and a fireball away from an even set number 1.
So finally goes for a Golem push, and oh no! Oh, Inferno Tower saved to the very end. You got to imagine that Pain's about to get super aggressive here. There you go, Lightning, that's going to be game. Fireball should be in just a moment. There you have it. Pain Gaming roar back in game number 2 to even things up.
A dominant showing in game 2. Now on to game 3, the final of set number 1.
So this is it, game number 3 of 2v2, and as you've seen time and time before, a game like this really can determine everything. The confidence you can have playing in King of the Hill when you know you have a set to give is so different than when you're behind.
I could not agree with you more, Rich. And one thing that I'm very curious to see is if we will be seeing something like a spell cycle deck right now, because this is a lowest tower situation.
So we didn't see a Dart Goblin yet today, and look at this, Pain going Lava. So we've seen a lot of RG, we've seen some Golem now taken to the air with their tanks.
Curious to see if we'll see any clones, since it's been so popular with Lava Hound.
So we're seeing 2 Dart Goblins here from Team Queso. I wonder if there's, and is it a possibility they're going with a bait deck here in 2v2?
It's such an interesting looking deck so far, honestly. You got the P.E.K.K.A, the Lumberjacks, excuse me, the Musketeer. I really don't know. Ram Rider coming in.
Ram Rider, okay.
Now, the Ram Rider is a very great tool to stop those very aggressive units, such as the Hog Rider and the Balloon that target buildings, even the Royal Giant. However, with the Lava Hound, it's not quite as efficient.
Yeah, not quite there, but we are seeing pretty much even so far as we approach the midway point of our opening 3-minute period. And look at that, Lava one side and runs right into some beautiful Barbarians.
Yes, yes, and I'm sure that Team Queso is kind of happy to see the Barbarians in the sense that, oh, our Fireball will take them out, but then you don't have the Fireball for the Lava Pup. So now they're gonna have to pick and choose their spells and how to use them. And picking and choosing their spells, Rich, is how they kind of struggled in match number 1. And that Lumberjack is on the tower, wow!
Ooh, tower down, and Lava Hound still up and fighting. Musketeer getting hurt right now by the Baby Dragon. Ups will pop, and Dark Goblin to the opposite side to clean some of that up, but damage done. Pain Gaming now just a minute away from securing this first set.
Yeah, that was a brutal, brutal push, and that Lumberjack, he had his eyes on the prize.
And look, that Fireball came in, maybe trying to predict the Barbarians, instead runs into a mini P.E.K.K.A. Guards Baby Dragon combination, so not the value you wanted out of that Fireball in the situation.
And you got to start playing aggressive like that if you are Team Queso. Those predicted plays is something that can really even up this game, and honestly, right now, they need the help.
A nice connection, though. Quite a lot of damage. So Team Queso still in this thing. If they can get that tower down, which I suspect they will, we're going to have a fight on our hands.
Lightning comes down. Baby Dragon. The Baby Dragon has been the MVP of the day for Pain, or as our friend Faye says, that Baby Dragon bad.
Whoa, look at all the damage from that Lava Miner push.
361 HP on the top of right-hand side of your screen. Only 1,000 HP difference, and they have a tower down in the bottom. This is going to go Pain's way, it feels.
Fireball will come in, extending ourselves into sudden death overtime. But as you said, and with that connection from the flying machine, it really feels like Pain is in control right now.
975 HP separating Pain from taking their very first 2v2 set.
Now, it's an interesting question at this stage, right? Because you see them going ahead and lavaing up. Do you instead just start playing miners and getting some miner, maybe some poison chip damage, and save the rest of your elixir for defense on the opposite lane?
That's a very good question, Rich.
Now they go double lava. Here we go. So,
this
color me wrong. This should be it.
And excuse me, this is their second 2v2 set that they will be taking on Pain Gaming. And Kuchiku and Benihu, the stars of 2v2 in the EU, now falling 2 matches in a row. They did finally get the first game win under their belts, but Rich, it just wasn't enough.
That's a 1-in-4 game record right now for Team Queso. And on the other side, taking a look at what we got going on for Pain Gaming, this pair, Surge and Ren and Kava, they're flowing right now in 2v2.
Yeah, 4-1 on their side in games now, doing a great, great job. So 2v2 under the belt. Once again, Pain showing that they thrive there. However, King of the Hill, they've got to show up today. They've got to take it home.
Interesting changes here. Dark Angel went second on in their first match, and then Ren and Kava did not play in King of the Hill last time out. So some adjustments here. Both of these squads win. They might be able to get a little bit more utility out of this set.
Yeah, and you know, one thing we talked about a lot in Season 1 was maybe putting your greenest or newest player, or even your most nervous player, in that very first slot. It doesn't feel like as much pressure is on their shoulders in King of the Hill. You don't want someone that kind of has a rough time under pressure coming into that third slot, Rich. It's really rough on their mentality.
You're absolutely right, and take a look at this. Piggies coming out here from Ren and Kava to open up in King of the Hill. This is a card that had so much play in Season 1, of course, in that Royal Hogs 3 Musketeers dual lane pressure deck. Fell out of favor in the West after it was nerfed. And then after a couple more adjustments, it's starting to come back just a little bit.
Yeah, made a resurgence at World Finals. Now there's that very popular Mortar Rocket Royal Hogs deck. And a great aggressive Mega Knight at the river, knowing that the Lava Hound is down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. Ren and Kava choose to go very aggressive, and Dark Angel has no response.
Quite a lot of damage there, but now Ren and Kava's in a tough situation. He does have to defend both lanes here. Nice job with the Rascals to pick up the Lumberjack and Baby Dragon, but he's still going to be kind of a tight spot here, so we'll see how he deals with it, because look at how low he is on Elixir.
Yeah, Flying Machine taking out the opposite Flying Machine. Now Bats coming in to create a lot of pressure, and the Clone coming in. Oh, wow! The MVP E-Wiz coming down, and Ren and Kava having to throw little BMs Dark Angel's way.
And of course, it's a Royal Hog BM on top of all that. So, you know, you're sitting there going, oh my God, he's got nothing on Elixir. Look at this. We have the pop for the pups. We have the bats coming in. We have the clone coming in. And Ren and Kava just knows he pulled a fast one on his opponent.
Yeah, you know, that E-Wiz was played early on at Rich, so maybe Dark Angel kind of forgot that he had it, or thought that maybe he had to circle all the way back around to it. My gosh!
Baby boy, tower down. That's 9 Elixir, very well spent left-hand side. Knew that the barbs were coming in defense, took him out clean.
Predictive play of the day, hands down by Ren and Kava, showing why he is one of the best out there.
Quite a lot here on the right-hand side. E-Wiz comes down, but does not pick up all parts of that clone. That's gonna be towered down here on this side as well.
Yep.
We are all tied up going into sudden death overtime.
And Ren and Kava with about 900 HP lead on the map here, tied up at Elixir.
Wow, so here we go again. Piggies, he saw the Lava Hound come in, and this time you see that the adjustment in the defense here by Dark Angel did not make the mistake of playing the exact same defense twice, so the Fireball did help, but did not clean that all out of the way like it would have.
Yes, and now Dark Angel really needs to preserve the health of the units around his Lava Hound. Keeping the Flying Machine alive and the Baby Dragon is going to be imperative if he wants to take the win. You see right there, cleaning up a lot of the squishy troops of Ren and Kava.
Wow, a nice early clone here. Look at this, so much still
Lumberjack
alive.
on the tower, Rich.
Oh, wow, it's the Rascals, but they're gonna be too late here.
Flying Machine taking that tower down. That is gonna go Dark Angel's way, 55 HP. Flying Machine
can't do it, there you go. Dark Angel takes out the first player for Pain. What an amazing comeback.
And you look at him taking a sigh of relief on the tower there. Dark Angel showing up to play.
And Andrew, you got to imagine that it was that Royal Hogs Fireball push on the right-hand lane where kind of trying to predict those Barbarians again did not work out very well for Ren and Kava.
Yeah, and I don't know if Ren and Kava was actually predicting more Barbarians or if he was trying to get damage in, but the problem there, Rich, is that he needed to save the Fireball coupled with the E-Wiz to stop the push, whether it was the Flying Machine or the pups popping. He just needed to save that for defense. One more push, and I think he would have taken the game.
So Dark Angel, first victory here in CRL, and a tough one across from this time. Last year's Nova player, this year's Pain player, Carnage, across from him. And very interesting opening cycles here from Carnage.
Yeah, very quick cycle and an excellent Fireball coming down, taking out the Flying Machine of Dark Angel. Dark Angel, I'm sure, is asking the question that we all have in our mind. What is Carnage going to play? And it's going to be a Royal Giant.
2.9 Royal Giant, and you know, Carnage plays so well with cycle decks, and this is one that I think might benefit him, but of course, running into both the Lumberjack and the Barbarians, that's going to be real frustrating. Although he does have the Fireball in this version of Royal Giant,
yes,
that could be beneficial.
Yeah, the Fireball with the Barb Barrel, and I'm wondering if he put that in specifically because of the amount of times we've seen Barbarians show up against Royal Giant matchups, and it takes the Lightning out of play. This case with the Fireball, it's an excellent matchup for Carnage.
Yeah, there are some challenges, though, because he now has so many Fireball targets between the Flying Machine, the Barbarians, and they have to deal with those clone pops.
Yep.
So it does kind of stretch him a little bit thin here.
If I'm Carnage, which I'm not.
What?
And he probably has a different plan in mind. I'm saving the Fireball for the Barbs, and I'm using the Mega Minion to take out the Flying Machine, as you saw right there.
So here we go, Carnage out to a very early lead, a pretty significant lead here with that Royal Giant push in the left-hand lane.
The clone, Rich!
And that's that's a lot of clone damage and unsupported, you know, not with a tank in front of it. And look at all this on the right-hand side as well. Oh my gosh, Dark Angel here looking to shock the world in King of the Hill.
Great placement on that clone, splitting up the troops going left and right. Now Carnage, I think, BMing just a little bit, saying that well played. It could have been for the interaction that just happened, but it also could be because he feels like, you know, Dark Angel just sacrificed that left-hand tower.
Royal Giant doing a lot here on the King Tower, and Dark Angel really not worried about it. He's got to feel like he's in a good position on both these towers, but with 25 seconds left, this is not an easy ask to get these things down. And the way that Carnage can cycle, he might be in a lot of trouble here. Expect to see get back to a NATO fairly soon.
Yeah,
there you are. Takes care of the pups. Oh my word, Carnage from his back foot gonna steal this one away from Dark Angel.
Yeah, Carnage really playing so smart. They're playing so calm and also recognizing, hey, you're gonna go ahead and Lava Hound in the back. I'm gonna take your left-hand tower and you will not get the damage in on my two. Carnage with the BMs and Carnage with the confidence.
The defensive skills of Carnage are so out of control. You know, of course, he's known for playing Ice Bow. You saw here another fast cycle deck with those two favorites of Ice Wizard and NATO. He's just so clean and comfortable when he has that pair in his hand.
Yeah, he can use the utility cards around it and swap out the win condition, Rich. I mean, he's played them a million times. He knows all the mechanics, and you saw right there, he never lost his cool, even in those last moments where it looked like he may lose that tower.
So more fast cycle for Carnage here. Benny who, Dark Prince in the back.
Will we see Ice Bow ever?
Maybe one of these days. Today's not gonna be the day though, Andrew. Or at least not this game. Little fireball value there. That Musketeer gonna stay alive though. And puts the Prince in front.
Oh,
so
wow.
Here we go, it's the double Prince graveyard deck.
And a very, very aggressive push, and that did not go Benny Who's way. A very nice NATO to pull that Prince out of range of the tower tanking. And now, he still has an Elixir lead though, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, you can also count with the 3 for the Ice Wiz on the board, but the Ice Wiz is not going to do a whole lot at this stage. He's not going to support it, is Carnage. Again, looks like he's running 2.9 Royal Giant cycle. And here we have, I love seeing this deck from Benny Who with the Zappies mixed in, the double Prince Graveyard.
Zappies making their CRL West debut, I believe.
I think that's our first time seeing them.
And I still like to split them. I really do. I'm still a fan of that play. And,
yeah.
and obviously he knows Carnage has the fireball, doesn't want to give him the value, but I like splitting him.
So many interesting aspects to this deck because on one hand, you can tank for the graveyard with one of the two princes. On the other hand, you can have the graveyard tank for the Musketeer.
And there, I was just going to say, Benny Who has to save his Zappies to stop and stun the Royal Giant, because even if that Royal Giant gets one hit every time, which it should with the combination of the Prince and the Skeletons, you don't want that. You don't want to expend too much Elixir defending the Royal Giant only costing 6.
You know, we saw one aggressive graveyard from Benny Who trying to catch him off guard. It didn't work out, but I like that Benny Who's backed off the gas a bit here, started playing defense and kind of playing graveyard a little bit less aggressively, kind of how you should.
Musketeer misses the Royal Giant, actually, not aggroing and just walking right behind the Dark Prince. He would have ideally liked to get a couple shots in on the Royal Giant and then following the Dark Prince. But we got a Bar Barrel Graveyard push coming in.
Bar Barrel Graveyard and the Musketeer, and oh no, that Tornado did not do what Carnage wanted. That's a lot of damage on this tower. You see he's frustrated. He knows he made a mistake there.
He thought that there was just enough HP to be taken away from that Musketeer, but he did not calculate it correctly. That 1 HP Musketeer was devastating.
So here we go, quite a lot of damage on the left-hand lane, but still has to deal with this push on the right-hand side and getting down potentially under 600.
Oh, wow. Skeleton is on the tower.
That's a lot of damage in the right-hand lane for Benny, who in a very good spot right now, and he has plenty of defensive options for this Royal Giant.
Look at the left-hand lane, Rich.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Benny Who playing so well, currently sitting 2-1 in King of the Hill, looking to make it a 75% win rate.
Need to get something down to stop that RG hit from coming in, and now the dual lane pressure, the aggression is going to be coming on heavy. There it is. Got to imagine if Bar Barrel's going to be coming down soon, something to create pressure, or he's just going to poison out. There it is.
I was going to say, we haven't seen the poison yet. This is about the time. You're in a pretty good spot here, and that is a ton of damage. Skeletons, will it be enough? One more, there you have it. Benny Who takes out Carnage. Fantastic play, and I was sitting there going, the way Benny Who slowed down won him that game.
Benny Who, now 3-1 in King of the Hill, has emerged as said star.
He's playing so well right now, and again, the mid-game adjustment last time, went aggressive early, kind of tried things out, got caught with that NATO, but then got things under control and feeling pretty good right now. 1 win away from sending his squad into the 1v1 set.
Rocking that Musketeer once again.
So interesting, you see Wen open with IceWiz, you go, maybe we'll see Ice Bow at some stage, but you see Fireball and not looking like it.
I'm just curious to see if we'll see an Expo or Icepo deck with, you know, Fireball in replace of Rocket, maybe to help the quick, you know, the cycle out, and
No,
also maybe to stop the Barbarians.
Look at this, 2.9 RG coming out for Pain 3 games in a row. A very interesting call here from the Brazilians.
I don't know what it is about this deck that they just seem to love in the matchup against Queso. Because Benny, who did take that last game, but it was so close.
True, very, very true. So maybe they feel like they can get his number here. Things slowing down here as we reach the midway point. And there we go, aggressive RG and picked up very nicely by the Furnace.
Came just back into cycle in time.
And will we see a big counter push here now with the Lumberjack and Musketeer? About to hit 6 Elixir, and nice Tornado. Does get the King Tower activation just barely.
Perfect, perfect Nado.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as little damage as you can take from a Lumberjack in that situation.
Yep, and the aggressive Royal Giant at the river now.
Knowing Tornado's out of cycle.
Yep, Tornado's out of cycle.
Great play here for Benny-Hoo.
Ice Spirit's out of cycle. Keeping track of your opponent's cards, keeping track of their cycle. Really excellent heads-up play.
And has plenty of, he's not, look at how he didn't support that push, didn't overcommit, so now he does have cards to play some defense here.
However, Furnace not in cycle, and that is a devastating Royal Giant push from Wen.
Yeah, like, honestly, a lot more damage than I expected to come down in that push.
Same. I figured that Benny, who had another option in his hand, but maybe he didn't have the Elixir or just not the cycle, not getting back around to the Furnace in time, obviously was the reason it didn't come down. But I thought he was going to play a little stronger defense in that moment.
So here we go, Benny-Hoo now choosing the RG in the back, not behind the King Tower, but in the back on that side, give himself some time to play support. Nice Nado to get that Musketeer out of contention.
Yes, a very, very aggressive Nado, Rich, expending almost all of his Elixir, but excellent play. Fireball away. Wen should even up this set. We're going to game 5.
Yeah, beautiful play by Wen. That Nado to get the Muskie on the other side was gorgeous. Fireball down, GG's from Wen. And Benny, who had to clap for that, he knows what just happened.
That's one of those moments where, you know, I just got outplayed. Team Queso finding themselves in another must-win situation, and Azealis is the man at the stand. 2-5 though last season at CRL in King of the Hill, Rich. Now he has some of the most accolades out of any player here, but can he do it right now?
We'll answer that question soon with Wen, the young upstart who's one of the best in the world right now against Azealis, who, again, as you said, the question marks are, is he still one of the best in the world?
Well, this is the moment to prove it, and Wen coming out with the Ice Wizard once again. Are they going to be running it back?
Come on, don't tell me you're doing 2.9 Royal Giant cycle 4 games in a row. Okay, no. No, that's not what's happening. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we might be seeing it.
We might be seeing it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Shh, everybody. 3 cards down, so this could be it. And look, if you're in this situation and you're Wen at this stage, you've just thrown the same thing 3 times in a row. You feel like, let's go to it.
Oh my gosh, man. I think we're getting it.
And yup, sure looks like it. Nice rocket, nice value, and we are gonna see some Ice Bow played by one of the best in the world.
Everyone in the room knows exactly what Wen is playing, and honestly, if I'm Azealis, I want him to play his best deck in the world because you expect him to play that deck, right? You've watched him play that deck a million times, but can you beat him?
Can you beat him doing it? And remember, it's lowest single tower, so this is a deck people thought would be super, super powerful here in King of the Hill, especially with no bans, because you can't get someone off the deck. We're going to see right now, this is going to be an interesting first look at Ice Bow in CRL West.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. You know, the Barb Barrel will come into play, the Ram Rider will come into play, and honestly, there should be a P.E.K.K.A in that deck as well. All those things faring pretty well against that Ice Bow iteration, Rich.
Nado, Mega Minion, Ice Wiz, and still gets a connection, not what Wen wanted to see there. So here we are entering in a double elixir time, not a whole lot done by either player, because again,
where we have this very, very slow, very methodical Icebo deck. So expect to see Wen just do his best to control, and there we go, defensive Expo opposite lane.
And that's what you got to do right now. You really got to play those defensive Expos and set up a massive push with so many responses in Azili's hand to your Expo. You know, that is exactly the proper move by Wen. And Azili's, as you were saying, you know, in the single elixir, they were both playing so calm and patiently, because the moment you find yourself in an elixir deficit playing against Icebo, it's over.
So here we go, second connection from the Ram Rider. So at the moment, Azili's doing a great job, and now we have our first offensive Expo.
The Bar Barrel and the Lightning again, man. It's so many counters, and I think this could be Termisva or Furrier calling this out. Look, Wen is in an easy situation. He's got a game to lose. He's gonna play his best deck. Let's counter it.
Yeah, I mean, look, losing does send you to 1v1, but you know, at some point you had to know when was going to pull it out. Seems like a very good call, and I know as an Expo player, Lightning is a very frustrating call.
Oh yeah, Lightning, Bar Barrel, you know, Ram Rider, all these things, so frustrating, and Azili's playing very well right now.
And now another offensive Expo,
There's
and
the
there's
P.E.K.K.A.
the P.E.K.K.A.
And now we've got ourselves in a dual lane pressure situation. You'd think that he may, actually no, he'll probably just stop right here and save the elixir.
Beautiful log there. Beautiful log there to get that Lumberjack and P.E.K.K.A. off of the Expo, extending its life. Could not get a lock, but that log did a whole lot to turn that situation keep it from going to a very, very bad situation.
And again, now the 2 elixir lead that Wen has now. Azili's coming down with the Lightning, with the Bar Barrel, still a slight connection, but Wen is starting to put the pressure on Azili's with this elixir lead. You know how important that is as an Expo player.
Yeah, it's absolutely important. It's so critical. And now he's using these rockets defensively to keep that Ram Rider off tower, and that's the challenge here is the Ram Riders in the lane you don't want to play. So another offensive Expo up, and let's see how he defends against this P.E.K.K.A. Ewiz.
Yeah, we saw him do it once before against the P.E.K.K.A. Lumberjack. Masterfully played. P.E.K.K.A. in, getting distracted by that Ice Golem.
And the Baby Dragon not able to clear out the small troops from in front of the Expo, but Snowball comes in and finishes it off. But again, Expo after Expo after Expo. This one will get a lock.
And it is relentless. The Lightning coming in. Nothing there. The reset. Ewiz on. Basically even up. 30 HP difference. Azili's actually in the slight lead still.
But very slight, very, very slight indeed. And again, this is a lowest single tower situation. So while Azili's has been doing the smart thing of putting pressure on both lanes here, the question's gonna be is who can get that tower down the lowest at the end. And a very, very nice log there just to get some more chip damage. Tons of rocket value, but it misses the Lumberjack.
Wow, and that is a huge, huge miss, Rich. Ram Rider coming in, that could be the difference maker right there. Azili's getting away with one.
Oh my gosh, Ram Rider gets a couple connections, and now Wen is in a lot of trouble with just 40 seconds remaining.
You know, he has to get one rocket on the tower, even just to even up the tower damage. Rich, 432 damage at tournament standard. Azili's in a commanding lead at the moment.
And that's why you see what he's doing now. Defensive Expo, try to get things pulled to the middle. The big question is how he's gonna stop this Ram Rider. Can he stop one more connection? No, he can't. That's going to get on tower. This is going to be it. Azili's is going to take this thing.
Yep, and they're going to push this to 1v1. Queso staying alive. Azili's not taking any chances and ending it as quick as possible.
Just great play by Azili's. Great call from Team Queso. The first view of Icebo goes down, and not just goes down, but it wasn't lowest single tower. That was tower down. Great play by the Frenchman. So here we are, heading to a third and final set, a place that Pain's already been this season, Team Queso. Let me tell you something, certainly happy to be here right now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, coming out in Game 5, pushing this to the final set. And you got to remember, anyone that participated in 2v2 cannot play in the 1v1 set, which means Kuchiku and their star of 1v1 so far, Bennyhu, will not be in this set. So who's going to come out, Rich? I'm going with Azili's and Carnage. That's what I believe will happen.
And let's see the reveal. Ooh, it's Dark Angel and Carnage.
There we go. Okay, they're feeling Dark Angel. I love it. I love it.
So here we go. 1v1, best of 3. The young player, Dark Angel, stepping in for Team Queso. Carnage, will we see more 2.9 RG or Expo? We'll find out right now.
Team Queso is some of the best in the entire world, Rich. So you imagine they probably predicted that Carnage would come out for Pain. So maybe there's something about Dark Angel and his playstyle that matches up well with Carnage, or maybe it's because you said they had a bit of a history.
Well, they are both Spanish players. More importantly, they have been teammates in the World Royale League, so these guys know each other very well, and we'll see if that pays off here for Dark Angel.
Zap cycle coming down for Carnage, and an early P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A.'s in the back have not been very successful, but right now, this one seems to be getting away with one.
Yeah, there we go. Open P.E.K.K.A. in the back, and as you said, so far here at CRL, that moved, especially early on, has led to disaster over and over again, but here we go.
Wow.
P.E.K.K.A. Balloon.
Incredibly aggressive, and we saw this deck played the other day, I believe, I mean, depending on the rest of the cards around it.
This
but
might be the Anaban deck.
What's that?
This might be that Anaban deck.
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, seeing Ice Wiz NATO, so this certainly feeling like it.
And that Anaban deck was made popular a while ago, and now working back into the meta due to maybe the buffs on these cards, or just maybe just because people forget about it.
Yeah, Wen played this in game number 2 of 1v1 when they played against Cream and won with that against Lindsay.
Yeah.
And again, it gives you some control options, it gives you some burst options, two things that these guys like a lot.
Yeah. So Carnage is probably going to want to hold on to his P.E.K.K.A. until Dark Angel commits Royal Giant to a lane.
Sure.
Then you get the P.E.K.K.A. down in the same lane to eat up that Royal Giant and the balloon behind it to hopefully create a big push. I'm a little surprised at that balloon drop. Maybe he just doesn't want to deal with the furnace.
Yeah, interesting choice there. You know, maybe just getting stuff in cycle that he wants. Get rid of the furnace, get stuff in cycle for playing defense. Nice little zap there to add some chip damage, and right now it's Carnage out to an early lead.
It's a pretty big lead, Rich.
Yeah, it's not insignificant. Yeah, Carnage likes 2 buttons on that emo list. It's well played and the goblin. By the way, I will never call anything other than the goblin.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I tried to do that the other day, but I just did not feel confident in making the sound.
All right, so this push not doing much for Dark Angel so far. Hasn't committed heavily. We haven't seen his first Royal Giant yet. And now we see another balloon way in the back behind the P.E.K.K.A.
It feels like Dark Angel doesn't know what to do right now. It feels like he's stuck, and the freeze coming down now, that will take out the furnace, and that is a very healthy balloon, but this is a huge, huge push, and there is no big spell to clean up all those small defensive units around it.
Yeah, we do get death damage from the balloon, but gets in a nice RG shot here for Dark Angel. We're going into sudden death overtime, and while Carnage is in the lead, you gotta wonder if Dark Angel is starting to figure out his rhythm just a little bit more.
Yeah, and Dark Angel, you know, again, cycle can be so frustrating, starting hand can be so frustrating. Maybe it took Dark Angel 3 minutes to get in the position he wants to, and now he can apply the aggression.
Well, you know, RG Furnace player really wants to wait until double elixir time. Of course, start getting those RGs down. A big mistake often is unless, wow, in a crazy situation. Wow, those are a lot of shots. You have both a P.E.K.K.A. and a Lumberjack on that RG, and he still just pounded that tower.
Yeah, I mean, that P.E.K.K.A. being distracted by the E-Wiz, even if just for one swing, allowed that many more hits to come in, and now we find Dark Angel in the lead.
Lumberjack getting down, and nice spread of the troops here from Dark Angel, making it very hard for Carnage to find a good spot for that freeze.
Yes, these two gentlemen tied at Elixir. However, Dark Angel has a lot on the field.
He might have the defensive freeze here. Uses the tornado, able to get the RG back a little bit, but that's going to be at least one RG shot here.
I mean,
possibly two. Oh no, there we go, just one.
And you really didn't want to have to use both those spells, Rich. So you saw he had to eat that shot in order to, because if you use both, then he's going to lose the game.
Yeah. Absolutely. So here we are, 1 minute into overtime, and Carnage just wants to find a way through, but lightning down. This really feels like Dark Angel has turned things around, but here we go. We have a balloon push. When the freeze is timed perfectly, could we get a balloon on tower 1, 2? No, not gonna make it. That's probably gotta be it here. Yep. Dark Angel taking the first one off of Carnage.
Now we've seen some incredible lightning blocks in the past, but I think you've gotta have some insane amount of luck right now, and you know Dark Angel's gonna put that off in the corner. Great plays. Game 1 going to Queso.
Yeah, no multi-troops there for Carnage to block the lightning, so here we are. Nice win for the young player. One win away from putting his squad in the W column here is Dark Angel. Carnage, though, has a lot to say about that. They're also looking for their first win, and here we go, some Frosty Cycle cards.
Little 1-for-2 trade. Uh-oh.
So you got to think that Carnage is going 2.9 Royal Giant Cycle again. That would be I think the 4th time they're playing that deck today.
Yeah, they're using it so very much. These goblins are going to do some damage. There we go. Got to get another spell down to stop all of that. And a very healthy Prince on the right-hand lane. Those skeletons for Prince combo, though. What a great trade.
Yeah, that's definitely working out in your favor. And you know, a lot of pieces here that you like. Minor, Rascals, some baity aspects.
I just didn't want to say anything because I don't want to jinx it, so I'm just going to sit here and smile.
1 minute down, and it is Carnage in the lead. He needs the win here, and there you have it. Mortar, Minor.
I am so happy.
Of course you are.
I've been waiting for 2 days for this.
So a deck that has been so dominant on ladder in various iterations,
Yeah.
Mortar Minor, and we're seeing it come out here for Dark Angel, and we'll see if he can use this effectively against Carnage, who again we've seen play so well with fast cycle Ice Wiz NATO control decks.
Yeah, and this is where Dark Angel is going to really have to pick and choose when to use his Mortar as offense and when to use it as defense. How is he going to create pressure? You see right now he's trying to create a lot of pressure in the left-hand lane to stop the RG from coming down.
Wow, just NATO, Ice Wiz, Skeletons, that was a whole lot of nothing there for Dark Angel to get through, and there we have a nice counter push.
Just a hair late on the overtime, or excuse me, the double elixir there. Not able to get the Mortar back down. Couple shots coming in for that Royal Giant.
Less than a minute in regulation time, and there we go. Minor to the safe spot, picked up nicely by the Skeletons.
Really, really well played all the way across the board. Stopping the Rascals, keeping the Void from taking for the Minor, picking up the Minor with the Skeletons. This is going to be a tough one for Dark Angel.
Yeah, there you have the Mortar getting the pickup this time, and the Prince on the Royal Giant as well, so no shots from the Royal Giant there. And the Dart Goblin doing its work in the back behind that Prince as well, and there we go, Minor to the back.
Now that the Bar Barrel is out of cycle, you can drop those Rascals in one lane confidently.
You had to ask the question of at what point was Dark Angel going to stop going to the safe spot and just let the Tornado take the King Tower activation so he could get more versatile. And there you have it. Now we're in double elixir time. He's going to start throwing Miners just a little bit higher pace.
Yeah, and eventually you just have to do that, Rich. You really, really do. An early Bar Barrel coming down to clean up the Dark Goblin, now allowing the Rascals, but that opens it up for the Fireball. Very well played by Carnage there. A tough, tough matchup.
So we've entered into sudden death overtime. A tower down means game over. Dark Angel 1 away from putting Queso in the win column. Carnage needs to win this one to extend.
Fireball coming down, still safe in the log just in case Rascals come in up high.
Really great Fireball value. Getting the Goblins, getting the Dark Goblins, getting the Prince, and getting Tower all at the same time.
Bar Barrel, not log, excuse me. It's the same thing. It's not.
Prince.
Those Skeletons gonna sneak in front, stopping that charge.
Although Bats here avoiding the damage from the Ice Wiz, so nice play on the Bats there to get that out of the way. And now we have a lot coming down. We should see a Minor. And look at that, getting the Skeletons early. Minor goes to the back, and the Skeletons have already left. But they cycle back, they walk back around.
Yep.
They're so quick.
And that Dark Goblin almost looking like it was gonna break through, but that NATO so well played by Carnage. Just taking away at that tower. I mean, really only 160 HP separating these two at the moment.
Nearly a perfect sequence there from Dark Angel, but Carnage defended that so cleanly.
Giving him some Bar Barrel value right here. There it is, gotta take the Ice Wiz out, well played. You gotta expect Minor to be coming in, maybe even on top of the Ice Wiz.
Well, now
Prince in!
Oh, wow, is the Prince gonna, no,
Wow.
nice, really nice work there, keeping the Prince distracted, although now Dark Angel is slightly in the lead. But keep this in mind, because this is absolutely important right now. Oh, the fireball does not get tower damage. That is big. I was just about to comment about the fact that Carnage can get fireballs out fairly quickly as we get down here to the final seconds. But again, since we're not in lowest single tower, a draw here is a true draw.
Now that is a frustrating miss. However, it is not a devastating miss. If you miss the DPS troops with your fireball, then you're in trouble. Just missing the tower, it's a bummer, but hey, it's the better way for it to go for Carnage.
Yeah, very interesting here because Carnage, a win or a draw is the same thing. Either one sends him to a game 3. Dark Angel here really might want to push and try to see if he can steal this one, but instead choosing not to give up the true loss. And here we go. Maybe we're going to get a counter push. This is Dark Angel's last real opportunity to try to close this thing out here instead of going to a game 3.
See that mortar plate so far over, not able to get fireballed as well. Can we get a miner and some damage in here? No, it looks like we're gonna go to a draw. A very well-played draw by both sides, Rich.
And this is why you saw Carnage go with the Royal Giant 2.9, is because he knew he could draw out with his deck. Yep. So he felt like it gave him a lot of options that worked well in this specific situation.
Understanding the rules is so important because I truly believe he should have gone much more aggressive. Maybe high mortars in the river to shoot down the tower, maybe opposite lane pressure, because a loss and a tie is the exact same thing in that situation. And maybe you can elaborate on that just a bit more.
So, you know, talking about the rules, the first 2 games are standard rules. But if you go to a game 3, for any reason, we're lowest single tower. So in that situation, since Dark Angel had a game in hand, a win is the only thing that matters for him.
Yep.
A loss for if Carnage wins, we go to game 3, and if Carnage ties, we go to game 3. So putting that pressure, you're talking about maybe getting those high mortars there a little bit, even in the center to still play defense. We still could have gone to that. You still be in the same situation, whether Dark Angel drew or tied. And now we're in a situation where if Carnage wins, we could go to a game 4.
Yeah.
So Dark Angel going P.E.K.K.A. E-Wiz bridge spam. Pretty standard here.
Yep. A very tried and true successful deck. Maybe seeing the P.E.K.K.A. come down right now. Instead he opts for the Royal Ghost, a cheaper option, but it's going to need a little support.
Carnage continuing to cycle and maybe going Lumber Loon here with the musket.
Yeah, that does seem to be what it is, you know. Getting that balloon behind the Ice Golem, getting the balloon behind the Lumberjack can be very, very powerful for pretty cheap, you know. 5 and 2 for the Ice Golem. Obviously a 9 elixir commitment on the other side of that with the Lumberjack is why it's such a devastating play.
And there you go, balloon opposite lane. A real cheap balloon push, but what does he have for this Ram Rider? And it doesn't quite connect, but those barbs are going to do a bit of damage here.
And a smart play by Dark Angel on the late deploy of those minions, seeing the Ice Spirit.
Man, P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam is
Yeah,
just
it's
so obnoxious.
There's no elixir there. Ice Spirit will catch it, but that's a bandit on tower, at least for 1 hit.
And now down under 1,000 HP with a minute to go. Carnage in a lot of trouble. Again, there are no draws in this game, so being behind on tower, even if we went the whole 3 minutes, although at the stage we're at right now, I can't imagine us not seeing a tower drop.
Ice Golem, balloon push coming in the left-hand lane. Where are the minions? There they are. E-Wiz has got to be coming down soon. Where is it?
Wow, giant snowball. That's tower down.
Wow.
That's tower down, and here we are, 34 seconds left, but we get a ram connection on the opposite lane.
Tower down on both sides, and this push on the right-hand lane is massive. Got to keep up the pressure on the left. Maybe a bandit, maybe another battle ram. There's the bandit.
Dark Angel still has so much on the board right now. Nice work with the Lumberjack on the left-hand side, but that's a P.E.K.K.A. shot.
Yeah, a good choice to take that P.E.K.K.A. shot, in my opinion, Rich. If you committed any more elixir to that, you would have had nothing to put in the pressure on this balloon push. Balloon connects again.
Ooh, look at the timing from Carnage. He's got this thing worked out, so both these guys swinging for the fences here in sudden death overtime.
And Dark Angel really needs to double down on this defense. He needs to start saving his E-Wiz and his minions. You know, that balloon keeps connecting for that exact reason. There are the minions. Where's the E-Wiz? It's behind the P.E.K.K.A. on the other side of the map, and another balloon drop.
But now a lot coming down the right-hand side here. Barbara looking to distract, kite that P.E.K.K.A. a little bit. Look at that Musketeer. She's doing a great job.
Wow. Bandit on the tower on the left. Battle ram behind. Zap in. This could be huge.
Ice Spirit to slow it down here. I think we're going to be able to pick up those Barbarians. Barbarrel gets down just in time. Really a beautiful defensive sequence from Carnage. A lot of trouble. I think the MVP in that moment was the Musketeer on the right-hand lane that you just saw taken out by the Royal Ghost.
And now we see that he was coupled with the minions, stopping the balloon before it gets to the tower, but still getting in that death damage.
Oh man, Royal Ghost, those are two big swings and a Battle Ram connection.
Bandit on the tower on the left, Battle Ram on the King Tower. This is huge.
This is so absolutely crazy, Andrew. This is so much fun to watch. Carnage in a lot of trouble. We have seen him play in a tight situation before, but he has to find a way to keep up with this spam that keeps flying his direction.
And with a full hand of Elixir, he has to defend. He has to defend this push right now. The Battle Ram is getting tanked for by the P.E.K.K.A. Snowball comes in, bats down. Lumberjack getting caught by the Bandit. This is huge.
Beautiful zap. Lumberjack trying to save. Ice Golem down as well. The P.E.K.K.A. is going to be stopped.
Ooh.
Oh my word. Oh my word. Carnage is playing like a madman right now.
This is a nail biter for sure. 75 seconds left in this game.
I mean, look, I didn't think we'd go to lowest single in a situation like this. We still could, the way the defense is being played right now. Carnage is just trying to keep up with the fast play of this bridge spam deck, and here we go. Lumberjack right-hand side, Balloon on the left.
He was in the back. Where are the minions? Are they going to come in? Bats down. Zap used early. That's a bad play. That's a Balloon on tower. That is a 3 crown.
Woo! Carnage just forced us into a game number 4. Goblins all day. Unbelievable play here. That was unbelievably bananas the way Carnage played. And again, it's just, you got to imagine he's going to go with something that allows him to cycle quickly here because he knows, he feels like he can outplay anyone with the ability to move fast.
And here we go, a Lava Hound in the back, P.E.K.K.A. at the river. We've seen this P.E.K.K.A. at the river pay off before for Carnage. P.E.K.K.A. with the minions. This is going to be tower down most likely.
Okay, we're doing selling out here on defense. Will it be enough? We're going to get at least one P.E.K.K.A. shot here. I don't think a second, though.
Very well played defense. Carnage at a slight Elixir lead, going to be able to respond well to this Lava Hound, but that was a great response by Dark Angel.
You know, I gotta wonder if Dark Angel looked at his cycle and went, if I lava back here, I have the defensive cards to deal with whatever comes my way.
Yeah, definitely. He's got ground, he's got air, he's got the Lumberjack in case a tank comes down. And now, Dark Angel taking the damage lead with that raged up Baby Dragon, but the Battle Ram connects.
And just lets the damage hit there, so, and the snowball helps a bit, but man, that is a lot coming down the left-hand side. He's gonna be down under 800 HP.
Wow, you know, those Barbarians, once they got that speed increase on their hits, when that Battle Ram connects, and those are untouched, unmitigated damage from the Barbs is brutal.
And look at the right-hand tower, too, of Dark Angel. This is absolutely insane, and Carnage says, you know, I'll just eat those ones, get my Elixir up, and you kind of see the look on Carnage's face, kind of just like, he's making the same face as his favorite goblin does.
It's exactly what I was about to say. Oh, and now he goes for a very aggressive P.E.K.K.A. at the river. We're going to be met by those Barbs once again.
And this P.E.K.K.A.'s not going to get on tower that time, courtesy of the Baby Dragon. So 2 minutes out of the way, and right now, Carnage does have a lead due to the dual lane pressure, but it is Dark Angel with the more single tower damage.
And the name of the game for Carnage right now is going to catch Dark Angel with his Barbarians and the Lumberjack out of cycle. Those are his 2 strongest ground troops. He needs to figure out a way to get them out of cycle and do exactly what he's doing right now in the left-hand lane with those Barbarians coming in and taking the tower.
And Dark Angel just eats that left-hand tower damage, but also lets the RG do a lot on the right-hand lane. So, you know, you're playing a tanky deck, you know you're going to take some tower damage, you know you might even lose a tower, but it seems like Dark Angel playing a little fast and loose here.
Yeah, and look at these Barbs at the river. I love it, Rich. Incredibly aggressive, but well-advised. They're going to get a lot of damage in, especially with the Lumberjack behind. Battle Ram comes to pick it all up, and look at the Lava Hound on the right.
But P.E.K.K.A. connects on the right-hand side here, and that Lumberjack's not going to do enough, so while it might be tower down, yeah, Bandit Dash, Carnage just did this. Carnage just did this. He's going to hit that emote probably 17 more times in the next 10 seconds. I don't know how fast it goes, but yeah, there you go. You see him partying there on the tower. He just knows he outplayed. Carnage takes this one for Pain Gaming.
And you gotta feel for Dark Angel on the other side. You look at him, head in his hands. That bandit so sneaky, and Carnage was relentless throughout.
And you're talking about those barbarians opposite lane. The Royal Ghost cleaned him up pretty easily, and then he had no real response. That Mama Pekka got a big swing.
Huge, and this is one of everyone's favorite things about Pain is look how they are celebrating. And guess what, Rich? Guess what? Team Queso. 0-2.
Oh my gosh, like, I was so into the moment here, that didn't even occur to me that Team Queso is now the first team to go 0-2.
I'm speechless. As you can tell, I don't know what to say. So here's the question. Does Queso, moving forward, change up their 2v2 duo to open up Benny-Hu in that final set?
I mean, that's a big question here. They've gone with Dark Angel. Look, let's not be wrong. Dark Angel played very well.
Yes.
That first game was great. Second game was just so crazy. That third game, though, he just went up against a guy who has more experience at this level and who was able to capitalize in the big moments.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Carnage today, he showed up and then some. We saw a huge showing from him in match number 1. Today, he finished the way he started in match number 1. He finished this out well, and like we said, Queso 0-2, and I am shocked.
Absolutely stunned. And another stunning development is the number of times, I think they played that Royal Giant 2.9 deck 4 times.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe more. Maybe I lost count. I mean, it was insane how often they went to that well.
And you got to think, it's not just because it's a strong deck and they're comfortable with it, but there must be something about the matchup and the play style of Team Queso's 1v1 players or play style that they were like, we're just going to try this over and over and over again. And if it's not broke, don't fix it.
And I do like the adjustment going with Carnage this time out rather than Wen.
Yeah.
You had Wen coming off of a loss. You had Wen who played well in the 1v1 the other day, but didn't get the win there against Lindsay. And you have a guy like Carnage who, you know, if you ever talk to the guy off stage, he is so unbelievably confident and comfortable.
So
why not send that guy into the 1v1?
And look, he comes out on top. That's one of the best things about the way that he plays. You play confident, you play aggressive, you play ruthless, and I'm sure we're going to be speaking with him.
Rachel, what do you got here with our winners, Pain Gaming?
Oh, I got Carnage down here, and they're taking a bit of a breath because I don't know if you saw that celebration, but they are happy about this victory. So let's start at that last match, work our way backwards. How do you feel about how your deck was favored or unfavored in that matchup?
Favorito.
¿Cómo se dice?
El último.
Sí, el último
Favorito.
matchup, si eras tuyo, ¿cómo estabas?
Sí. Que era para mí, sí.
Solo eso, hablo más.
No, dije que era para mí porque.
He said it was like favorite for him, and he played so well.
Not a lot.
Yeah, but not a lot, just a little bit.
And how stressful was that you not only went into a tiebreaker match, you went into a 4-round tiebreaker?
¿Qué pasó de jugaste no solo un desempate, pero 4 partidos? ¿Cómo se siente?
Pues siente que hay que jugar mucho, ¿no? Y como que cada vez tienes que estar más concentrado, no puedes perder la consistencia y eso.
He said it's all about concentration. It's all about it. He has to keep focused and play the best he can.
You guys definitely did focus in. You played the best you could. And speaking of focus, we had a lot of focus on the Royal Giant 2.9 cycle deck. So tell me why we saw that so many times in a row.
Sí, es un mazo que controlo muy bien las cartas de ese mazo, como el Mago de Hielo, el Megabirro y el Tornado, pero sé jugar mejor con otro mazo, pero es el que tipo tiene esas cartas y es muy bueno para mí jugar ese mazo.
He said he's like an archetype. He takes his all. Like he knows everything he can do because he dominates the tornado and the ice wizard and the mega minion, so he can beat any deck.
All right, last question for you guys. I need you to tell me about the passion and the connectedness on your team. You guys support each other so well. You're sharing information and you're being wonderful to each other. So how important is this to your victory?
¿Aprendiste?
No.
Es que él preguntó cómo se siente que nuestro equipo es tan apasionado un pelo otro, nos queremos mucho y apoyamos uno al otro, que eso influye en tu partido.
Es lo que se tiene que hacer en un equipo y es como que estamos muy unidos y siempre, o sea, eso es lo mejor de estar en un equipo, que estamos muy unidos y que si ganamos uno, ganamos todos.
He said it's the best about our team. Like if you one win, everybody wins, and that's what kept him motivated. We are a team, and that's what we're gonna do.
Fantastic. I feel like I won too. The energy here is fantastic. I'm going to send it back up to the casters to break down that last match.
Rachel, I could not agree with you more. That energy is infectious. And we asked and we said earlier, we were talking about why 3.9 so often, and it's because he loves those cards. He knows the way to use them defensively. That was so well played, and I love that you called it out early on.
And it was so fun throughout. I mean, this is about as long as a game, a match can go. We went 3 games in 2v2, 5 in King of the Hill, and 4 in 1v1. These two teams were so tightly matched. It was back and forth. So for us at the desk, you know, they're out of breath down there on the floor. We're out of breath on here. Unbelievable fun. And guess what, Andrew? We're not done. We have more Clash Royale coming your way right now. Let's look at the results so far today. Of course,
sorry there with Misfits and Immortals. Immortals a quick sweep over Misfits, even though very, very close in matchups and in games. And then you see right now the game we just saw, Pain Gaming edging out Team Queso 2-1. But don't worry, we got more coming your way. Tribe Gaming up against Complexity, making their CRL West debut.
You know, Andrew, I feel like I need a nap now after the stress and the length and the beauty of that last match that we just saw going, I mean, beyond just 3 sets, going into a 4th bonus game in the 1v1.
Yeah, no, it truly went the distance, as they say. And the one thing that I'm wondering about a lot, Rich, is if Queso needs to change up their 2v2 strategy to save Kuchiku or Bennyhood to move into that 1v1 set. Losing Sokin and St. Belican is really starting to hurt them.
Yeah, it's a big question. Dark Angel so far had been untested, and today played very well, but when it came down to the very end against a guy like Carnage, just couldn't quite stay in the pocket. But we still have one more match left, and it is an exciting debut. We, of course, have Complexity coming out with some familiar faces and some heavy hitters added on, facing off against Tribe Gaming in their 2nd appearance here at CRL West.
Yeah, and Tribe having a great start to their season. Looking forward to taking down Complexity, and Complexity looking to repeat exactly what they did in the first half of last season. Probably looking to change the second half, though.
Yeah, you definitely want to get that back. And of course, now they've added a couple players. And you know, if you're watching right now, it's likely that you know the news. 2 fantastic head-to-head players added to that Complexity roster in Vulcan and Air Surfer, last season's TSM players. So here we have our squads marching their way into the arena. And look at the confidence of Vulcan in front, wearing that new Dallas Cowboy blue.
Yeah, Vulcan feeling himself. And on the other side of it, you have got Tribe, and today they are ready to go. Their full roster is as follows: Tommy, Spades, B-Rad, J Monty, and Nitram. Of course, they can only have 4 players on the stage at a time. They are looking to take down Complexity. They know these guys very, very well, Rich. And as you said, Complexity, some new faces, some old faces.
Yeah, and so 3 of those faces that you know so well from Complexity, Colton and Razor, the Wall, the unbelievable 2v2 duo, and then of course Adrian Piedra, and those 3 nearly put Complexity to Japan last season. And now you add in Air Surfer and Vulcan on top of that. This makes this squad one of the most dangerous teams to face off against when you get to King of the Hill.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm wondering about is in 2v2, will we see the Wall again?
Tommy and Nitram coming out for Tribe, and they've broken up the duo. It's Vulcan and Razor in 2v2 for Complexity.
No, Rich, I can't say Razor without saying Colton as well. And to clarify my point earlier, I'm looking for Tribe is looking to take their 2nd 2v2 set win. Now over Vulcan and Razor, which honestly can't be as intimidating as Colton and Razor, but Vulcan is no one to sleep on.
I mean, can't be. That's a lot to say right there, because you have Razor, who's this 2v2 master, and then adding in Vulcan, who, look, last year was a breakout season for a guy who'd been kind of underrated, especially people said that he got carried at the King's Cup by being paired with Surge and our friend Ash. But he came out last season and showed that he belongs in the discussion as one of those top players in the world.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see how he fares here in this 2v2 set, knowing him strictly from 1v1 for the most part.
Now this is interesting because, as we've mentioned before, 2v2 players cannot play in the 1v1 set. So this creates interesting options on both sides. Tommy and Nitram now out for 1v1. So Tommy's out. That means you're looking at either B-Rad, J Monty, or Spades making a spot in the 1v1 set.
Yep, and that frees up Colton to play 1v1, which I've heard he has been working on. But of course, you've still got Air Surfer and Adrian Gager.
Yeah, I mean, how do you... Colton's fantastic. How do you not play Adrian or Air Surfer in 1v1, though? So we're going to find out what they're actually planning for the day. Here, though, we are in 2v2, and again, seeing a little bit different look this time out. And I was talking to Colton a little bit before the match about our thoughts on the meta. He thinks the meta is going to be less diverse this time around. And I mentioned that last season was Golem, 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 Golem. RG, 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 RG. He said, wow. Whoa, and here we go, Graveyard.
A Goblin Giant Graveyard push coming from Complexity. I love it. And you know, the other thing that I really love about this change-up, Rich, is you've got to imagine every team out there, Mega Minion on the tower, every team out there was expecting the wall. They were expecting Colton and Razor and Complexity, Mobile Matt. They love to keep their opponents guessing, and bringing out Vulcan, I love it.
Well, adding Kyle Kloss as a coach into the Complexity mix is such a huge benefit, and the players are talking about how having someone, Matt's an amazing manager, but having someone who's got more of that competitive experience as a player, really beneficial for them for questions. Also, their assistant coach, Sote, is a 7K player who can occasionally, with the right matchup, beat them in their matches, in their scrims.
And that is, you know, one of the things we've always said about Complexity. They have them and Queso are kind of known for having the greatest support staff surrounding their players. Now, as the seasons move on, as CRL evolves, every team is understanding the importance of this support staff. So let's see what the addition of Vulcan, Air Surfer, and a new coach.
And now it's RGGY in the opposite direction. So this is really interesting. The Graveyards making their way into 2v2 outside of the Golem Graveyard freeze that we saw last season.
And even with that poison coming down in the bottom right, you see that the tower is really, really suffering. The defensive freeze comes in, which is not what Tribe wants to do. They've got a lot of ground to make up.
So very similar deck theory craft from both of these squads here in this moment. And you know, we haven't seen a lot of Graveyard yet until this match. We saw the Skeleton Barrel Graveyard freeze deck the other day, but this is a whole new world.
Yeah, pretty fascinating to see both of these come out in the exact same game, you know, in the same matchup. And 400 HP on that bottom right tower puts us within spell cycle range. However, you do not want to get too aggressive. There's the fireball, there is the poison, and that is going to be Complexity taking game number 1.
Woo! One more tick, tower down. Vulcan and Razor, didn't think I'd be saying it. Vulcan and Razor now taking game number 1 of 2v2.
All I can say, Rich, is wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. I mean, the fact that now that Vulcan can come into this 2v2 set means maybe next time we'll see Colton Vulcan. Maybe after that we'll see Colton Razor. That has got to be infuriating to strategize against.
And you know, now I'm starting to feel like maybe Colt was trolling me a little bit, saying, before we got into the crazy action, he was saying to me that he thinks the 2v2 meta this season will be less diverse because of the lack of bans, and that last season, the lack of diversity was because players didn't understand 2v2 enough.
Right.
And then what did we just see? We just saw Goblin Giant Graveyard, like,
yeah,
here
P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard, like two now new metas we haven't seen yet. I mean, obviously we're only on our second day of CRL West. A lot to learn here, but that was really, really well played by Vulcan and Razor.
We've already seen so much more diversity in 2v2 this season between, you know, last season it was all Golem and RG. We've seen RG, we've seen Golem, we've seen Ram Rider, we've seen Minor Control, we've seen Skelly Barrel Graveyard Free, now we've seen Goblin Giant Graveyard Free.
And now we're seeing a little bit more of the RG, the Giant Skeleton, the Inferno Towers, probably we're seeing Lightning. There's the Lightning coming in, and that RG will get a few shots in, forced to use the defensive freeze. A good play, but you never really want to use your freeze on defense, but sometimes it is the best move.
Saved a lot of damage there and allowed the ability for Tribe to clean out those support troops as well. So now we're about the midway point of regulation, and even though Vulcan and Razor,
I know,
it's hard.
It's
well, also it says Complexity Razor, you see the COL, so even though Complexity is ahead, they don't feel like they're ahead by a significant margin.
Yeah, so Snail's going to come in to try and stop this push, but that RG will get a couple shots in once again if there's no building coming down. 1 shot, 2 shots in, because it's all ranged up. Fireball comes down, pretty good spell value there.
And not much on the counter here from Tribe, and did not have the Inferno Tower down. Maybe they chose to defend in a different methodology, or was it in cycle last time around? Although I feel like it must have been in hand at that point.
You know, I hope the complexity is just playing A through it. You know, as we've said many times, they kind of had the World Finals taken out from underneath them, being in the commanding league throughout most of the NA regular season last year. So now with this change-up in 2v2, imagine if their King of the Hill set is just Adrian, Vulcan, and Air Surfer.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas. But also don't count out Razor, the King Killer, who opened up last season with 2 back-to-back sweeps.
Yeah, I did not mean to sell them that short. He's an incredible athlete when it comes to, especially the King of the Hill.
Look at this Tribe push, though, a very, very significant Graveyard RG on the right-hand side.
RG back down on the left-hand side, very aggressive, still going to get a couple shots in. Tribe has got to utilize either their freeze better or they have to save their Inferno Tower. They cannot let that RG continue to connect.
And there we go. Complexity having to do a lot of work there to stop the push on the left-hand side. And look, in comes the pace on the right-hand side. And Inferno Tower does pick up the Royal Giant. So right now, Tribe looking at a pretty good spot here. They could steal this win. Freeze comes down. Freeze comes down.
The early log in, nothing to stop it. The freeze comes down, poison in. Wow, 162 HP. Where is the... I mean,
they don't have it.
Yeah, they gotta get back to the poison. They need it. They can't log and snowball.
That's so crazy. They have to take back to this poison right now. First RG down. Will the second one come in? Try to sneak this one through. How many cards away right now is Tribe from getting that damage log? Are they going to get anything else in time? Poison does come down.
One more hit on top of that.
Going to take the first game of 2v2. A great game 2 performance from Tommy and Nitram. You know, talking about synergy in 2v2, both Latin American players, Tommy from Nicaragua and Nitram from Argentina. So working well together, solid communication, and they just took down Vulcan and Razor.
Yeah, very, very well played. They did not let those pushes on the left get to them mentally, despite not always having the proper cards in cycle to defend against it. And those Graveyard Freeze pushes on the right-hand side were excellent. And the Witch seemed like the MVP of that deck for Tribe last game.
Yeah, and Tribe was playing a lot of Splash Yard parts in 2v2, which was also interesting to see. They couldn't get the Splash Yard pushes really working on the left-hand side, so they go right-hand side, Witch GY take care of business.
Yeah, very, very impressive. You saw that early log come down, wondering what else Complexity had in their deck to meet it, and not much is the answer.
So what adjustments might be made here in the third and final game of 2v2? And so far, looks like Complexity running something not dissimilar from what their opponents ran in the last game.
Oh, wow, that is a wasted NATO on the bottom side of the map. You like the idea behind it, but the Baby Dragon was already targeted on that tower, and it's got range. You got to pull it out of range to retarget.
And now look at that, because you just had 3 elixirs that didn't do a whole lot and eaten a whole ton of damage here on the left-hand lane.
So very frustrating when you miss a NATO, whether it's a NATO pulled a King Tower on a melee unit or a NATO pulled a King Tower with something like a Baby Dragon. That is a rough one.
Nice last-second snowball there, I believe, from Vulcan, keeping that Lumberjack from doing any more damage on the right-hand tower. Just going to eat 3 musky shots, 2 musky shots.
They're going to try to build a big push in the right-hand lane, hopefully saving Lightning. There it is. Taking that down. Poison comes down. This is going to be a big one. I wish they had a miner, Rich. I really, really do. I love the offensive capabilities of the miner in 2v2, always being able to get to the tower, and then they're going to play Lava Hound. I mean, I understand deck synergy and what the game plan they have in mind, but I bet you they wish they had a miner tanker right there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen miner work in so many different ways well in 2v2, and now to defend on the left-hand lane, as soon as I saw that lava come down, Complexity goes hard in the left, and it's not going to get a ton out of this one, about 400 HP damage on that left-hand lane, although with 30 seconds left, that might be a very critical bit of damage.
And on the left-hand lane, they do soak up all the damage from that Lumberjack. They do opt to drop the Dark Prince to stop the Baby Dragon and the Ice Wizard. And one thing you got to recognize about Tribe, despite taking all the damage on the left-hand side, they are ooh, that's got to be a misplay.
That's got to be a misplay. Playing a super early, super high Inferno Tower, not when you read the playbook.
Yeah, that is. I mean, maybe they're just trying to stop any sort of push that can come in the left-hand lane. And, oh, wow. You know what, Rich?
Oh, my God.
Too soon. Oh, he spoke way too soon.
What?
That is tower down.
You see Razor and Vulcan. You saw Vulcan go, I can't believe what just happened.
Oh my goodness, that was not a misplay. That was stopped. You cannot push the left-hand lane. Wow, and Razor and Vulcan have no idea what just happened, and that's where the teamwork comes in. The experience of Razor and KOTH playing together, I bet that wouldn't have happened. He's speechless.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here watching Tribe. I feel like they got away with one here. I don't really know. Look, that's the big question about that Inferno Tower play. Like, let's say this. Yeah. It worked out. I mean, it definitely worked out. Was that an intentional Inferno Tower just to put something there in front? Were they trying to get back around, or was it just was it a drop? Was it a missed play?
And look at the frustration on Razor's face. Let's see if Complexity can bounce back in set number 2, King of the Hill.
And here we go for our final King of the Hill of the day, Tribe versus Complexity, and leading off for your blue side, Tommy, Adrian Piedra on the red side for Complexity.
And this is where the depth of Complexity becomes very, very threatening. The fact that you can come out with these all-stars in your second set, despite what happens in set number 1, it does feel like they're not really that far behind, Rich.
Well, especially with the kind of gauntlet you have to run through. You know you're facing Adrian Piedra, probably facing Vulcan. You have Air Surfer somewhere in the mix. And of course, Razor is so dangerous, so who knows what they'll be facing up against. And here right now for Tribe, Tommy, of course, came out last season with that amazing run. I believe he started 11-0 in head-to-head games.
I mean, he was the person with the highest win rate in CRL North America. Again, he only played about 11 games, but that doesn't matter. That's still a very high win rate. And now we're going to see from the bottom of our screen, Tommy probably rocking that Pekka Ram Rider deck. Top of our screen could be Mortar Bait.
I think it's Minor Prince Inferno Tower. This is a deck that Adrian's been running a lot in the last couple of months.
Yeah, that deck has been very, very interesting. Prince is just so powerful in it.
I know he ran this deck in the Moreno Cup a few times. So here we go, and Tommy, of course, you said doing the Ram Rider, most likely the Pekka version.
Yeah, and this in the Moreno Cup, he actually took out Dark Angel with this deck from Team Queso.
First minute down, and a little bit of blood drawn, but no one quite hurt bad yet. Adrian cycles bats in the back and just throws a nice little cycle snowball as well.
Inferno Tower coming in, 100% deck 12.
Miner to the inside now. And Bandit predicts to the back, does not pick up the Miner, so a few very valuable swings there for Piedra. Spear Goblin's doing a nice job not letting that Bandit get a dash off onto the Princess Tower as well. We are entering into double elixir time, and it is Adrian Piedra out to a slight lead of just over 300-ish hit points.
This is where Adrian's got to be really careful once we start to get double elixir time. You're going to see Tommy exactly back up high and start creating these pushes, these big downhill pushes. And now with that E-Wiz right there, he's got to be distracted very, very quickly by anything that you can get to stop it from hitting your Inferno Tower. There we go. A great bar barrel.
Beautiful bar barrel. Miner gets picked up by the Bandit. It's going to happen a few times. You're not always going to get that Miner snuck in here. And that Inferno Tower is just chilling.
Yeah.
It's built a tent, taken off its jacket, hung it on the wall. It is living on that side for Adrian.
You know, that was a really, really nice interaction playing those Spear Goblins to distract the Bandit and walk to the Spear Goblins as opposed to dashing to the Inferno Tower.
That's 3 Miners in the back in a row, I believe, for Adrian Piedra, so it might see him switch it up a little bit, or will he keep on just going bam, bam, expecting to move and keep going to the same spot?
And that Baby Dragon getting those belches in is not ideal for Adrian. However, he will be able to even it up with these Miner hits.
Is this Prince going to get away here? Baby Dragon is nothing but cycle. E-Wiz gets down just in time, but then E-Wiz is going to die as well. Prince might get a shot, and yes, it does. Wow.
I was going to say the E-Wiz is the only option Tommy has at the moment, and it will not completely stop that Prince. And now the Miner in the back will pull the Pekka.
Oh, but Miner right onto the Pekka. Will it get around quickly enough? Yeah, Prince gets stopped there. Down to 402, so Adrian in a pretty good spot here. but you wonder if maybe he wanted that miner to go somewhere to make the P.E.K.K.A walk a few extra steps.
Yeah, I think maybe he wanted to send it just a little farther behind her. He did expect the P.E.K.K.A to turn around, but the Prince just did not get there in time. Still really, really well played by Adrian Piedra, and Tommy not being able to mitigate all that minor damage. This is going to be an L for Tommy going into the first game of King of the Hill.
Adrian Piedra played it beautifully, and you know, we talked about he kept on throwing that miner to the exact same spot over and over again, almost daring his opponent to make a choice here. Picks it up with the E-Wiz, but Poison's gonna come down, take care of things. Adrian Piedra wagging the tongue there on the tower. Game number 1 in the books.
Love the synergy of that deck that Adrian was playing, Rich. You know, the E-Wiz was one of the cards that could completely stop all the minor damage, but then you can never actually get a P.E.K.K.A push in because there's the Inferno Tower that you got to stun.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so the question now is, Adrian Piedra, do you go back and just really throw out your flex by playing Minor Prince again against the Minor Poison Master B-Rad?
No, B-Rad here starting with archers in the back. It could be that Mortar Royal Hog. I just got to give up on Mortar. We saw it once. There it is. Yes!
Oh, man, Andrew's going to be so excited right now. This might be that Mortar Royal Hog deck that you've been enjoying.
Yes.
And then, honestly, I've been having so much difficulty with this one. It's not really, Mortar's not to my playstyle, and this one, it has some great versatility. Andrew, walk us through a little bit about how you like to play with it.
I mean, first of all, a beautiful Barbaro pickup there by Brad. I love this deck. You know, the Rocket, the Mortar, the Royal Hogs, it creates so much pressure. You can use the Mortar as a defensive or offensive card, but then you've also got the Royal Hogs. You have split lane capabilities with the Rascals and the Royal Hogs. You know, it has such great synergy as a deck. And honestly, in the hands of B-Rad, I'm just excited to see what he does.
Now you gotta wonder if Mortar is just like way at the back of the cycle, if it is in this deck, because we didn't see it played in response to pick up that Ram Rider.
Yeah.
So is Mortar actually in this particular variation? And there
it is. Yeah, I'm assuming, just like you said, it was probably out of cycle. Not happy to see that P.E.K.K.A, I'm sure, by Adrian Piedra. But, you know, B-Rad did take down Saint Pelican in the BGW finals with this deck.
Bar barrel in, but Mortar does get a lock, and that's going to be one very big shot. And it kind of feels like a lot of the cases, it's like you get one shot out of the Mortar, it's done its job.
Yep, that was beautiful, and that was an excellent exchange right there. He does need to catch the Bandit with the skeletons. Wow, that is the type of play, you know, he's just playing with his head on a swivel. He's watching everything, expecting everything. B-Rad playing perfectly right now.
Both players taking a moment to reset. Adrian Piedra, as we get a double elixir time, might be going to start playing from the back here.
And the frustrating thing here for B-Rad is you look at the first 3 cards in rotation for Adrian Piedra, they are all AoE cards. The Baby Dragon, the Bar Barrel, and the E-Wiz do a lot to stop him. And the Snowball coupled with that, he will have a tough time really breaking through over and over. But if he gets that many hits every time, Rich, that's a success.
Yeah, and Adrian giving a little well played here. He knows he got taken on his defensive side and stymied on the offensive end of the board. 30 seconds left. Double elixir time before we move into sudden death. And right now, Tribe looking to get one back.
Very interesting type of play there. Bandit does do a good amount of damage on the right. The E-Wiz will take down that order a little bit more than I believe Brad wanted. B-Rad, excuse me.
Oh, they're going back.
Yeah, I know.
And look at the time on the Ram Rider. It might get a perfect move. Does not quite slide past the Mortar, but we might get a no. Beautiful Giant Snowball does not get a connection.
Perfect Snowball at the last second to push that Ram Rider just out of range. B-Rad playing with perfection.
So Bar Barrel here to help the P.E.K.K.A deal with those Royal Hogs, but again, all you need is a few hundred damage every single time, and I think that Brad's happy making that exchange.
Yes, and he is very close to spell cycle range. The Mortar's going to come down. Those Rascal Girls will actually clean up the Ram Rider into that P.E.K.K.A. Okay, yep, going to have to give a little extra support.
Ooh, the skeleton gets in there just in time.
And this pressure is relentless.
Man, that P.E.K.K.A got so close over and over and over again.
Oh my gosh, Big Dragon, the Big Dragon! Wow! Wow! That was unbelievable. You saw Adrian Piedra recognize there was no elixir in the hand of B-Rad. He sends in the Bandit at the end, and the Baby Dragon connects. My goodness, Adrian 2 up, 2 down.
Adrian Piedra, when he's at his best, it's so hard to deal with him. You see, he's loose, he's confident, he's feeling good, and he has one more kill to take here to put this thing to get to set number 3, facing off against Jay Monty.
And you know what? Tribe, despite having success in the 2v2 set in back-to-back matches, King of the Hill, they were swept in match 1, and they're very close to being swept in match 2.
Both players cycling Ice Golem to open up.
One of the scariest openings to a game, Richard, the Ice Golem on Ice Golem.
Yeah. So so far we've seen pretty much the exact sequence of play. Although it looks like Jay Monty, and I guess they're both playing that faster bridge spam.
Yep. Lumberjack comes down, a very aggressive push here. The battle ram will connect.
Beautiful connection to open things up for Adrian. Really, really beautiful connection.
And those minions should do just enough to stop that Prince from connecting. Very, very well played. And even get a couple hits in. Wow. Devastating start for Jay Monty and Adrian Piedra doing what he does.
Although that snowball actually helps out a little bit and gets not just the Ram, but the Barbarians, at least one Barbarian on tower, so that's a lot of damage.
And a great Ice Golem in. The Bandit turns around, the Ice Golem steps up, and wow, that's going to be tower down.
Wow, and you can see Adrian, he's kind of like, okay, I got it. You know that Adrian is kind of like getting refocused when he takes one hand off and starts crinkling it around.
Yeah, that is one of his go-to moves, and right now he recognizes he had a great start. Jay Monty had a better one.
It's been so interesting seeing the Musketeer get more versatile ever since the buff. You know, the Musketeer for a long time was a one-deck card, was really just stuck in 2.6 Hog Rider cycle. But then now, you started to see Musketeer come up more in graveyard decks, but then now, part of this, part of Balloon cycle, like Musketeer really is everywhere.
I mean, that's one of the cool things about the meta right now is, I mean, even in that deck last time, which I did miscall, it could have been an old school Mortar Prince deck that was popular for a while. This could be Hog Rider 2.6. You know, I love that it doesn't just give it away. And obviously, the Royal Giant deck could also be a graveyard deck when you see the first few cards.
And there goes Adrian Piedra taking down the right-hand tower. So a little, we are in double elixir time, and these guys are pretty much even.
Yep, pretty much even. Other than the King Tower, we're basically at 0-0, but a lot more rides on this for Jay Monty, wanting to close this out and send Complexity home. Well, at least to their second player.
Adrian doing a good job keeping that Muskie alive. A little bit of support in front. And getting that one shot off from the Bandit is going to be nice here. It's going to get the better of the exchange with the Bandit as it comes to its side.
You know, this would be the true test, whether, you know, do I run the Lumberjack version? Do I run the Prince version? Which one seems to be more successful?
Notice how much effort both of these players are putting into protecting their Musketeers.
Yes.
That's something that I've talked with a few pros about these different sort of like lower cost decks that have Musketeer and Ice Golem specifically together, and most importantly 2.6 Hog Rider cycle.
Yes.
One of the most common mistakes newer players make is not protecting that 4 elixir investment that does so much DPS.
Yeah, I mean, the range on it, the single target DPS is so powerful to keep her alive. We used to say protect the Princess a lot in Season 1 because Lockbait was a little bit more prevalent in the meta. Wow, that's a battle ram connection. This season, it does appear to be the Musketeer.
Yeah, Musketeer. We haven't seen as much Princess, although, of course, there's a lot of season left to be played. 30 seconds away in overtime, and right now, Adrian ahead.
Fireball value on both sides.
Should exchange one set of Muskie shots. Bandit forced to come down and take a little bit of damage there to stop the Muskie from getting an extra shot on the tower.
Yep, and you always want to play your Bandit in the position to make your opponent's Bandit walk to it. In walking, plus your Bandit, plus the tower, yours is always going to come out on top.
So there's some nice fireball value. 3 troops hit and the tower, and you see the crying skeleton there from Jay Monty. He knows he just got caught looking.
And another opportunity for spell value. There goes the snowball, maybe even a fire. Nope, the Prince is going to come down to support this. Should make easy work of this battle ram.
And now Jay Monty loading up Ram, Bandit, and the Bandit dash gets off, Fireball gets in. That was a wonderful sequence for Jay Monty, and the Prince might get on tower too.
Bandit gonna dash, this is huge. Adrian's gonna go down, and he knows it.
Oh, wow, just in the blink of an eye, Jay Monty throws the thumbs up to his bench. Adrian has to clap for it.
Yep.
Beautiful final sequence there for the Tribe player.
I mean, sometimes you just get outplayed. You know, Jay Monty has been one of the stronger players in King of the Hill. Last season, he was 6-3 in King of the Hill, Rich, despite not making a single appearance in the 1v1 set. Apparently, Tribe knows this, and he showed up today.
I mean, Jay Monty's been around for so long. He's a very unflappable player. You don't really see him get nervous. You don't see him freak out. He's very, very focused. He's mature. And right now he's up against Air Surfer, who has not one, not two, but 3 #1 finishes in the global tournament since that was launched back in December.
Yeah, and before they actually changed the matchmaking algorithm there, he was the first person to get over 100 wins, which getting over 100 wins, even with that matchmaking, with only 5 losses, is godly.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And looking like Air Surfer going with bridge spam again. Jay Monty potentially going, oh no, he's going Musketeer Royal Hogs. All right, so again, last year we saw a 3M Royal Hogs. Yeah. Musketeer Royal Hogs has kind of replaced that.
Yeah, and I'm very curious actually to see if 3M does ever make its way into the meta now, being brought back down to 9 Elixir, but it does have that deploy time delay.
Jay Monty playing Giant Double Prince, which especially with the big Dark Prince buff has really roared back. The E-Wiz minor version is a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
But Giant Double Prince overall still all over the place. Double Prince now really just kind of in Graveyard and Golem and Giant, and just stop it. Stop it with the Double Prince.
They're just so powerful. They're just so strong. They do so much damage, whether it's splash or direct. They have so much HP. And again, it's all about making your opponent spend a little bit too much on defense, not use their elixir super efficiently, and then they're just kind of caught looking for the rest of the match, trying to play catch up.
Well, this is, I do also like this call from Jay Monty playing Giant Double Prince for a number of reasons, not just as a powerful, strong, and lots of different options. You can see here doing well with those Royal Hogs, but Air Surfer is known as an expo player. And between the Giant, the Prince, the Dark Prince, and then the ability to reset with both the Zap and the E-Wiz, it's really annoying. There's a lot of ways to deal with an expo.
And you can follow the expo around with your Fireball, because you can continue to switch lanes with the Prince pressure and the Giant pressure. I mean, you can drop a Giant right at the river, supported by 1 unit, and then Prince in the opposite lane.
Yep, absolutely. So here we are into double elixir time, and currently it is the complexity player Air Surfer in a slight lead, but you know, as we get deeper and deeper into double elixir, you gotta expect bigger and heavier pushes coming from Jay Monty.
Yeah, and what you recognize here is that Jay Monty's been actually saving his Fireball to take out the flying machine for the most part, instead of spending it on those Royal Hogs. But as you see right there, those Royal Hogs did work on that bottom right tower.
Now this is a really great dual lane pressure push. Dark Prince puts a lot on the left-hand side. The classic Prince on the right-hand side doing a ton of damage. And look at this, Dark Prince to predict those Royal Hogs coming down, and E-Wiz to help as well. That Royal Hog push just got blocked. Minor to the back. This is going to be Jay Monty taking another win.
We are going to Game 5.
Wow, Jay Monty showing up huge. 1 win away from not just a reverse sweep, but from putting complexity out 2-0 in their opening match. Jay Monty looking so calm, so relaxed, so ready, and he better be, because he's got one more huge mountain to climb here at the end. He's facing off against Vulcan for Game 5 of King of the Hill.
Yeah, despite Vulcan's success in 1v1 sets, 8-3 overall last season, 18-9 in games. He was 5 of 5 in King of the Hill, Rich. You were attesting that to a bit of, you know, having to go the distance every time that he came to King of the Hill. He'd have to take down at least 2 or 3 players every single time, and sometimes your number's just up at least once.
Yeah, I mean, Vulcan really did carry a lot of load last year. Let's be frank, Air Surfer has turned into from a good player to a world-class player in the offseason.
Yes.
And what he did against Surgical Goblin in the finals of the last Moreno Cup was unbelievable, that 7-game win. Air Surfer has really expanded his game, but last season, Vulcan was carrying a ton of the work on his own, especially before OP Sam joined the squad.
Yeah. And a huge push here coming in the left-hand lane. Bandit behind, gonna dash on top. Prince tanking for the Bandit. Wow, and the Bandit dashes on the bar barrel. That is a crazy interaction.
Gosh, and the Prince on as well. Jay Monty just drops his hands.
Oh my gosh.
Throws up the thumbs up, the shake. He just knows he might have sealed this.
Oh my goodness. You talk about interaction changes, dropping the Barbarians on top of the Prince. The Prince pops one, takes out the rest. The bar barrel comes down. Bandit dashes to the bar barrel despite it being so close. And that's a tower down.
Wow. Wow. What a difficult spot for Vulcan now to play essentially from all the way behind.
I mean, if I'm Jay Monty, you keep up the aggression, but you have the luxury of playing defense. You get to make moves like that.
That's an insane amount of fireball value.
Tons of value, not really even having to put on pressure. Okay, fine, you're gonna play Barbs at the river? I got an answer for you.
Fire Spirits do help out a little bit, and that's probably more damage than Jay Monty might have expected, but you see what he was waiting for. Just soak up the damage, put a counter push in, put the pressure on Vulcan rather than on your side.
Oh man, another connection. Insult to injury. They're almost tied up on the right-hand side with the tower down in the left.
Final 50 seconds here. What does Vulcan have in the tank to get back in this one? And again, giving the exact same fireball value on the Furnace and the Musketeer and the tower.
Makes no sense to do that interaction again after you saw how it went down the first time. Knowing we're in double elixir, knowing he's got a quick cycle, that's just giving away value, Rich.
And now Vulcan finally gets the graveyard down. And Poison to support, but is it going to be enough to get this through? I don't think so.
Excellent fireball there from Jay Monty, taking out the Barbs and the Mega Minion. Oh my goodness.
Wow, wow, just brilliant play here, Jay Monty. And he's just adding insult to injury, finishing things off. Jay Monty just swept Complexity. Tribe Gaming takes the win.
Wow. A sweep in King of the Hill in match one that did not go their way. And now King of the Hill, perfect for Jay Monty in match two. And you see that young man celebrating. He knows he just brought it home for his team.
A reverse sweep. As I remember that Jay Monty was the third up for Tribe Gaming. But that's what I was saying. He is so calm. He's been here before. You see him now smiling a lot, but he's not one who gets phased when he looks down at danger. And here he stood in the pocket, played great, got the win, and put a stamp on it in that final game.
The amount of comfort he has in situations like that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I'm wondering if he knows what's on the line, and my goodness, that is what it's all about in Complexity. All the way back to that game in 2v2, not really knowing what happened. They lost it in the last seconds, and they come up and they take down the first two in Tribe, no problem. Jay Monty had a different day in mind.
Wow, unbelievable. And again, it shows how unpredictable CRL West is. Remember, the other day, Dignitas beat Tribe.
Yes.
So do you walk in here and go, what kind of chance does Tribe then have against Complexity? Well, I'll tell you what, a two-set sweep.
And then with Complexity, you add Vulcan, you add Air Surfer. They seem to have this unbeatable trifecta in King of the Hill. And what happens? Jay Monty runs the table on him.
CRL West is absolutely bananas. This is so insane. So many great players. Every single team is stacked. They're also so many teams have added little new parts and pieces that move and shake things around. And it's just been so much fun. This is only match day 2.
I know, Rich. And you know, there was a lot of speculation, a lot of criticism from the community about not having ban cards. And you know what? If this has not put that to rest, I don't know what will. These 2 days have been incredible. Adrenaline rush. It's just been amazing. And Jay Monty, wow.
It's certainly been unbelievably exciting. And, you know, some of the unpredictability might be why it's so crazy exciting. But look, enough about us. Let's go to the floor. Rachel is standing by with Tribe.
Hey guys, I'm down here with Jay Monty. I had to talk to him after that incredible sweep against Complexity. You faced off against 3 different players, crushed them all. You got some insights into how that's done.
Yeah, so this morning I came and I was wearing a medium t-shirt, but then I got a large t-shirt in, and it's so much looser and I just feel so much better. So yeah, it was really the large t-shirt, a little bit of prep, but the large t-shirt really helped.
Yeah, a little more room for activities.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just felt more comfortable. That definitely helped me out there.
Well, talk me through these activities now that you're able to perform in your large t-shirt. You've got Mad Raider, as I understand it, on your team, helping you cook up some decks. You brought a little variety. Tell me what you brought here today.
Well, I actually didn't bring too much variety. I today I just felt like I should stick with what I know. So I played a couple of the same decks that I play usually. Didn't switch much up, and then I just prepared for each player individually. I feel like pretty well, so I got myself some good matchups, and past that, it wasn't too difficult.
So when you think about these players that you're preparing for individually, can you give me any factors from any of them that especially let you consider your decks around them?
Nothing really. It's more on the play style, and so I just knew against Adrian and Vulcan, I know that they're pretty defensive, and so I just wanted to build a pressure deck for that. And then I realized that for Air Surfer, based on his deck pool, I knew that Giant would be a good choice. So I just stuck with that, and it worked out well.
Well, smart plays and precision placements are going to give Tribe the win here. We're going to send it back up to the casters now to wrap up the day.
Thanks a lot, Rachel. Fun fact, I just ordered a whole pack of XXL shirts on Amazon, because if that's what it takes, I'll pay the money. Just take it right now. Let's go.
Look, man, I don't know if it's the wardrobe, the coaching, or the confidence, but whatever it is all working for Jay Monty and his Tribe team, of course. What a showing today against the old #2 in NA.
And let's go take a look at our results for the day. And you started off with Immortals taking a straight 5-game sweep off of Misfits.
Team Queso really struggling at the start of their season. They're now 0-2, falling to Pain Gaming 2-1. And as we just said, Tribe Gaming coming out on top over complexity on the backs of the cool cucumber that is Jay Monty, Rich.
Two very impressive King of the Hill sweeps today from the God RF at the top, and then at the bottom here from Jay Monty. And of course, those two sweeps have an impact early on our standings. Let's dive in and see where the teams are after match day 2.
They finished the season last year at the top, and here they are at the top once again. Immortals with a 5-game sweep that puts them above Fnatic in second, Dignitas in third, Cream in fourth, and Tribe Gaming at 1-1 moves up to fifth. Now the bottom half of our standings, we've got Pain Gaming at 1-1, Energy, SK, and Team Liquid are all tied, and at the very bottom, Team Queso, the EU champions of last year, 0-2, Misfits at 0-1, Complexity at 0-1 in 10th.
It has been so crazy already.
Yeah.
And here's the most nutty part about it. We still haven't seen some of the biggest stars of the game, Team Liquid and SK Gaming. Well, guess what? You don't have to wait that long here. We're getting Team Liquid in tomorrow against Dignitas, but first, Cream up against Fnatic.
Yeah, those are very exciting matches coming up. I can't wait to see what Liquid's new roster is going to bring to the table.
A lot of movement in the offseason, a lot more here, of course. And you can follow all the action by hitting like, subscribe, share, follow, send a smoke signal, a carrier pigeon. Get people to see this and join you with all the Clash Royale fun. We will be back, of course, tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm Rich Slayton. That's Andrew Guy. Mahalo.